Chapter 13:21 How High Sea Ancestor Arrives. Third update. Although the Dark Sanctuary is only a resource-concentrated area in the Dark Forbidden Domain, it is also considered to be the depth and core of the Dark Forbidden Domain, but in fact there is a line between the realm around the Dark Holy Domain and the Dark Holy Domain barrier line. This barrier is called the Forbidden River. The Forbidden River is formed by the gathering of dark and forbidden forces, forming a special river, which is very rare. And this river surrounded the Dark Sanctuary, and also created a prosperous treasure like the Dark Sanctuary. But this taboo river is very dangerous, it contains a lot of taboo creatures. Not all taboo creatures coexist with other practitioners like the taboo Holy Gate, and many taboo creatures don't even have any wisdom, relying on instinct. Without the cultivation base and strength of the ancestors of the strong domain, once they dare to cross the taboo river, almost 100% will fall. It is possible to cross the Forbidden River, unless it is bad luck. In the realm, who doesn't want to enter the Dark Sanctuary? There is infinite hope and a future. Although the battlefield tower can be connected to the Dark Sanctuary and the realm, how many realms can have the Tower of Warfield Tower projection? Rare. And even if there is a war zone tower, what's the use of not getting out? There is still no way to obtain too many resources, and it is destined to not go far. Those top domain ancestors in the realm of the gods have been trapped in this realm for countless years, and there is no way to break through. The only hope is that mysterious treasure. Therefore, Yi Tian understood what Function Mountain Master said. At this time, the Mountain Master of Function continued, the top ancestors of the gods have stayed in the top ancestors for countless years. Maybe you don't know how long the gods have existed, I can tell you, the gods the realm is close to a realm era. What, a realm era? You mean? Yi Tian said in shock. That's right, Function Mountain Master sighed. The realm of God and heaven is about to fall into a state of destruction. Once the realm is destroyed, all the creatures in the realm will perish, and they must escape the realm. All the creatures below Daozu will be destroyed. Death, only practitioners above Daozu have a chance of life. Moreover, when the realm is destroyed, a world of great terror will inevitably usher in. We in Haifeng Mountain are looking for a new way of retreat, not only because it is difficult to get along in the Divine Sky realm, but more importantly to find a way out. Otherwise we don't need to risk a full retreat. Most of the forces in the realm of the gods do not know about the destruction of the realm, and only a few domain ancestors know about it. Those top domain ancestors should also know, but some top domain ancestors dare to take risks, and some dare not take risks. So it is. Yi Tian suddenly realized, mysterious treasures are just one reason, the bigger reason is to find new realms as new places of hope. Although the Daoshan realm is not young, it is much better than the Shenshin realm. Therefore, after knowing the situation of the Daoshan boundary, all the strong men of high function crossed the dark forbidden area and went to the Daoshan boundary. The situation is more difficult. Moreover, there is also a taboo world and a battle world tower, which can be connected to the Dark Sanctuary. It can be said that the cultivation environment here is now even better than that of the Divine Heaven realm. Wanfa Daozu, you have to be careful about other forces. The Heavenly Emperor Palace has never been a threat, and How High Sea Ancestor is only an elite domain ancestor now, but other forces are afraid that there are top domain ancestors. And the Lingyun domain ancestor, I don't know which force's domain ancestor he is. It may be a loose cultivator, but it may also be under the command of those top domain ancestors. We must be careful about the forces behind him. We currently have 6 domain ancestors in Haifeng Mountain, and I am an elite domain ancestor. The Lord of Montenegro is also an elite domain ancestor, and the Lord of Haifeng Mountain is infinitely close to the top domain ancestor, but he is still not the top domain ancestor. Therefore, we may not be able to hold a top domain ancestor in Haifeng Mountain. Attack. If there is any danger, you should enter Haifeng Mountain directly, and use the formation of Haifeng Mountain and the power of the world to resist the top domain ancestor. There should be some hope. Function Mountain Master suggested. Master Function, I know. Yi Tian nodded. He did not say that he could easily kill a top domain ancestor, or even have the ability to fight with the strongest domain ancestor. Having said that, the owner of Function Mountain can't understand it either. After all, his current realm has only returned to one realm. But the arrangement of the Mountain Master of Function this time made him very grateful to High Function. Therefore, if High Function was in trouble, he would definitely help and suppress the enemy. With him there, those top domain ancestors in the God Heaven realm are garbage, nothing at all. With the passage of time, those domain ancestors in the realm of God and Heaven are getting closer and closer to the realm of Daoshan. And How High Sea ancestor was alone and had no subordinates to drag him down, so he was the fastest and arrived at the Daoshan boundary earlier than the people from Haifeng Mountain. This day, on the edge of Daoshan's boundary, a figure full of scars walked out from the dark forbidden area. It's finally here, the man sighed. He is none other than the How High Sea ancestor of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. At this time, he was more seriously injured than before, and he also encountered a little trouble in the dark forbidden area. After all, as the ancestor of the domain, the trouble he attracted was even more terrifying, so he suffered some injuries. Fortunately, he arrived at the Daoshan boundary, and these injuries on his body can be repaired slowly. At this moment, one after another figure appeared in front of How High Sea ancestor. These people are the Dragon Shadow Palace Master, Lei Jia Palace Master and others. They received the message from How High Sea ancestor early, so they waited here. Meet Li Hao, How High Tiandi. Meet Emperor How High. Meet Emperor How High. Many half-step ancestors bowed and worshipped. How High Sea ancestor looked at the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and Lei Jia Palace Master, nodded and said, "Very good, the two of you will soon be not far from the ancestors of the domain, and there are so many half-step domain ancestors born in our Heavenly Emperor Palace, much stronger than our peak period. Long Ying, Lei Jia, you two did a good job." Although several familiar faces disappeared, he didn't care. If you die, you will die. As long as the Heavenly Emperor Palace is still there, that's fine. Heavenly Emperor, let's go back. The situation in the Xuanshu Taboo realm is a bit complicated now. The main road of the Dragon Shadow Palace. Okay, then go back to my first. How High Heizu nodded. He also needs to repair the injury, otherwise there are enemies behind him, and he may not be able to contend. Chapter 1322 Secret, Mysterious Treasure, Void Sacred Tree. Tiandi Palace. How High Heizu returned to this familiar palace, sat on the throne of the Heavenly Emperor, and looked at the palace masters below. Long Ying, tell me, this taboo world is called Xuanshu Taboo World, isn't it? How is it now? Could it be that our Heavenly Emperor Palace has not ruled everything? How High Heizu asked. The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace quickly said, "The situation of our Heavenly Emperor Palace is not good. The strength of Haifeng Mountain is stronger than our Heavenly Emperor Palace, especially Haifeng Mountain has recruited an aboriginal in this Xuanshu realm. This aboriginal talent is too evil. He is called Wanfadaozu, and the level of the realm of all things can swept us. Our entire Heavenly Emperor Palace is not his opponent. If he hadn't made a move against us, our Heavenly Emperor Palace would have been destroyed. Moreover, he is now in the same state. Level, the real strength is to easily kill the ancestors. Beheading Yuzu, are you kidding me?" How High Heizu didn't believe it. "It's true, Lord Tiandi." The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace said, "The Xuanshu Taboo realm now has the projection of the Sacred Object War Realm Tower, which can contact the Dark Sanctuary. We can use the Battle Realm Tower, and can contact the practitioners of the Dark Sanctuary. People, the Dark Sanctuary divides the realm of reunification, from the realm of reunification to the realm of ninefold reunification. According to our calculations, the eightfold reunification realm is equivalent to the weaker domain ancestors in the realm, and the ninefold reunification realm is probably comparable to the leader of the common domain ancestors, and there are more than 530 limiters above the 9-level normalization level. The first level over limiters represent the domain ancestors who can kill the Dark Sanctuary, and the second level over limiters represent the ones who can be killed. The weaker elite domain ancestors of the Dark Sanctuary. And Wanfadaozu is the second level limiter, who can kill the elite domain ancestors of the Dark Sanctuary. If it is replaced by the elite domain ancestors of the realm, he is afraid that he can be easily killed. Moreover, he joined the War Gate, one of the 10 sacred gates of the Dark Sanctuary. The War Gate is one of the 10 most powerful sacred gates in the Dark Sanctuary. There is an ancestor of the Supreme Domain. This is the news we got from the War Realm Tower, and it is confirmed." "How can that be?" How High Sea ancestor was extremely surprised. "What kind of joke are you making when you kill the elite domain ancestors in the homeland?" So, Yi Tian, aka the ancestor of Wanfadao, has the strength to kill him. But he knew very well that the Dragon Shadow Palace Master did not dare to deceive him, so many of what they said might be true. Afterwards, the Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace talked about other situations in the Xuanshu Taboo realm, and let How High Heizu know the situation in the Xuanshu Taboo realm. It has to be said that the current Xuanshu Taboo world is dominated by Haifeng Mountain and the human race, and other forces have no way to compete. In addition, the Xuanshu Taboo realm also has a Lingtian domain ancestor, but it is only an ordinary domain ancestor, and there is no threat to the How High Sea ancestor. Heavenly Emperor, we also discovered that Palace Master Hanyu, CJFI, she did not fall. Dragon Shadow Palace's main report. You didn't take her down. How High Sea Ancestor asked. In his eyes, Palace Master Hanyu is a weak half-step ancestor, and he has no potential. Once the Heavenly Emperor Palace finds her traces, it should be easy to capture her. The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace quickly explained. Lord Tiandi, we originally wanted to capture the Palace Lord Hanyu, but it was destroyed by the Taoist Wanfa. She is a friend of Taoist Wanfa, and now she lives in the human world of the human race. We can't do anything about her. Is she a friend of Daozu Wanfa? How Hai Heizu frowned. This is troublesome. If there is Yi Tian, he will not dare to do it. In case Yi Tian really has the strength to kill him, isn't he courting death? It seems that I have to wait for that thing to grow up. In that case, my strength will increase by leaps and bounds, not to mention the ancestors of Wanfa, even those top ancestors in the realm of the gods and heavens, I will not pay attention. How Hai Heizu murmured. During this period of time, don't disclose the news of my return, and try not to go out, we must wait for the opportunity. 1. How Hai Heizu ordered. Heavenly Emperor, do we have to wait for that treasure? The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace whispered. Long Ying, Lei Jia stays, the others step back. How Hai Heizu ordered. The other palace masters withdrew one by one, leaving only the How Hai Sea Ancestor, the Dragon Shadow Palace Master, and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master. At this time, How Hai Ancestor said, yes, I am waiting for those treasures to grow up. Lord Tiandi, what exactly is that treasure? The Dragon Shadow Palace Master asked curiously. The Palace Master of Thunder Tribulation also expressed curiosity. They had planned for so long, but in fact they couldn't find the treasure at all, and they didn't know what it was. I only know that it can promote the birth of the taboo world, but I have never been aware of the existence of that thing. You really want to know? How Hai Heizu asked. Want to know? Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia nodded again and again. Well, you two are my most loyal subordinates, it's okay to tell you, anyway, you won't be able to hide it for long. How Hai Ancestor said. You should know that I once entered the dark forbidden area, looking for opportunities, an accident, I encountered a place of inheritance with a powerful existence, and I went through untold hardships to obtain that treasure, and I gave up an inheritance. Even if the inheritance leaves are useless and have no resources, there is still no way to become the ancestor of the strongest domain. Those top domain ancestors in the realm of the gods, really do not have the inheritance of the supreme domain ancestors, but they are useless. If you want to become the supreme domain ancestors, inheritance is useless, otherwise the dark sanctuary will be full of supreme domain ancestors. An ancestor of the strongest domain must have a talent against the sky, or a treasure that defies the sky. And the treasure I obtained has the hope of making me step into the level of the ancestor of the strong domain. How Hai Heizu paused for a while before saying the name of the treasure. That treasure is called the Void Sacred Tree. It is difficult to grow, and it must be watered once with the promotion energy of a world before it can grow. Moreover, once the Void Sacred Tree is planted, it will hide the void, unless it is the ancestor of the strong domain, otherwise no one will be able to find its trace. What I got at the beginning was the seed, and a slate, and the seed was placed on the slate. Fusion, together with the slate and the seed, were merged into the domain fragment. I planted it myself, and I set a mark, so I can still sense its existence now, but the slate seems to have disappeared, it should be absorbed by the Void Sacred Tree after it grows. It doesn't matter anyway, the Void Sacred Tree is the most important treasure. How High Sea Ancestral Road. What is the use of the Void Sacred Tree? The Dragon Shadow Palace Master asked curiously. It can give birth to the Void Holy Fruit, change our physique, and form the Void Holy Body, without needing to practice any Holy Body inheritance. How High Ancestor said. I am not a Holy Body inheritance, once I refine the Void Holy Fruit, I can directly become the inheritor of the Void Holy Body. The Void Holy Body is the 13th powerful Holy Body on the Holy Body list. More importantly, once the Void Holy Fruit is refined, my roots will have great potential far beyond the present. It's not that those who are not in the Eucharist cannot become the ancestors of the Supreme Realm, but it is very difficult, but it is easier for those who are in the Eucharist to become the Eucharist. Moreover, I am already an ancestor, and it is too late to practice the inheritance of the Eucharist, it must be half a step. Only by refining the sacred body can the domain ancestor make the sacred body. Therefore, the Void Sacred Fruit is my only chance, and it is also the shortcut to the Supreme Domain Ancestor. After listening to the Palace Master Longying and the Palace Master Lei Jia, they understood. The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace added, "Don't worry, once I become the Supreme Domain Ancestor, it will not be difficult to get a few sets of sacred body inheritance from the Dark Sanctuary. After becoming a saint, you can break through to become the ancestor of the domain, and it is expected to become the ancestor of the strongest domain in the future. In addition, the sacred tree of the void is also a treasure tree, and the cultivation speed is much faster than usual." "Thank you Lord Tiandi," Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia said excitedly. At their level, there is almost no hope of getting the holy body inheritance, and Hao Hai Heizu promised to give them the holy body inheritance, how could they not be excited? Chapter 1323 Yuzu is ready to rob. First update. Lord Tiandi, hasn't the void sacred tree grown yet? 1 inch. The Dragon Shadow Palace Master asked again. Not yet, but soon. Hao Hai Ancestor said. According to my estimation, in a few million years, the void holy tree should be able to give birth to the void holy fruit. Once the void holy fruit is born, the void holy tree will be born. The location of the void sacred tree is also exposed. However, I know the location of the void sacred tree, and I can enter the void sacred tree in advance. Once the void sacred fruit matures, I can take the void sacred fruit first. Other domain ancestors have no time to compete with me, even the Wanfa Taoist can't compete with me. Quote. Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia nodded again and again. Unexpected, Hao Hai Si Ancestor said solemnly. Some elite domain ancestors from the realm of the gods in heaven have also come. They are following me, and now I am afraid they are about to arrive. There is no way, I can't completely get rid of them. Once they also come to the Xuanshu Taboo realm, I'm afraid you're going to trouble me. Then what? Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia panicked. Next, the two of you will be guarding the Tiandi Palace, open the big formation, and don't leave. I plan to go directly to the void where the void sacred tree is located, and wait until the void sacred fruit matures. If the Tiandi Palace really can't keep it, you will flee as soon as possible. Leave with the foundation of Tiandi Palace. Wait, I will return. Hao Hai Heizu arranged. Yes, God, Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia, Yingdao. Remember, as long as the two of you know about this matter, you can't tell others, otherwise the Heavenly Emperor Palace will be in chaos. Hao Heizu reminded. The Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master repeatedly promised not to leak. Wow, Hao Hai Heizu left the Heavenly Emperor Palace, followed his perception of the void sacred tree, passed through layers of void, and finally came to a special space. Boom, a gigantic void sacred tree is rooted in the void, absorbing the power of the mysterious void taboo realm. This is the void sacred tree. Hao Hai Heizu murmured. It was the first time he saw the void sacred tree. After all, the void sacred tree was just a seed. The void sacred tree is transparent. If ordinary people look at the void sacred tree, it is estimated that they cannot see it. Only a domain ancestor like him can easily see the void sacred tree. There is an immature void sacred fruit on the top of the void sacred tree, and this void sacred fruit is growing little by absorbing the power of the outside world. Hao Hai Si Ancestor did not interfere with the growth of the void sacred tree. He found a place nearby to sit cross-legged and began to comprehend and practice. Cultivation here is much better than the outside world. It's not bad to learn and cultivate for millions of years here, it's enough to improve your strength a little. Hao Hai Heizu thought to himself. Yi Tian didn't know that Hao Hai Si Ancestor was back. In fact, at his level, he didn't care about Hao Si Ancestor at all. This day, several domain ancestors came to the Daoshan realm. They are the 5 elite domain ancestors from the realm of the gods, and they are veteran elite domain ancestors. Their strength is vaguely higher than that of the ancestors of the sea. If a few people join forces, they will be enough to seriously damage the ancestors of the sea, and even hope to kill him. If Hao Hai Heizu was here, he would naturally recognize it. They are the ancestors of the Luji domain, the ancestors of the Kenyan domain, the ancestors of the Qinbian domain, the ancestors of the Tianian domain, and the ancestors of the Moyu domain. A new realm, and the lifespan of this realm is probably only 1/3 of the past. The ancestor of the 6 poles exclaimed excitedly. Several other domain ancestors are also very excited. This is a brand new realm. How difficult is it to find a new realm in the vast and extremely dangerous dark forbidden realm? Their 5 great domain ancestors did not belong to the same faction, but came from 5 factions. Before, they only joined forces to track the Hao Hai Si ancestors. Now, they have found this realm and separated one by one. Shortly after, they know what's going on in this realm. This is a very weak realm. The most powerful world here is the Xuanshu taboo realm, and it has been promoted from an ordinary universe to a taboo realm in a short period of time. This is not normal. As a result, they came to the Xuanshu taboo world one after another. It is different from How High Ancestor. The ancestor of How High Sea has the Heavenly Emperor Palace. After entering the Xuanshu taboo world, he immediately shuttled into the Heavenly Emperor Palace, hardly attracting anyone's attention. And the ancestors of the 5 great domains had no place to stay, and they needed to inquire about the news, so their existence was soon exposed. Human world. A half-step domain ancestor of the human race, that is, a legion commander of the Juji army, Feng Kai Daozu, reported the intelligence report that the domain ancestor had sneaked into the mysterious and taboo world. For Flowersa, has the ancestor of the domain entered the Xuanshu taboo world? It seems that the ancestor of the How High Sea of Aa the Tiandi Palace has also come. Yi Tian muttered. Humans don't need to care about them for the time being. Yi Tian ordered. Yes. Feng Kai Daozu replied. Battlefield Tower. This is very gorgeous, and it has almost become the practice center of the mysterious and taboo world. Countless practitioners practice here. After all, even if they can't enter the War Realm Tower, this large forbidden void realm is also a treasure. And at this time, the ancestors of the 6 polar regions also came here. The Battlefield Tower can communicate with the powerhouses of the Dark Sanctuary, and can also be exchanged for inheritance in the Dark Sanctuary. 0. There is no such treasure in the realm of the gods. Knowing this situation, they came immediately and wanted to enter the War Realm Tower to take a look. As for other things, it is temporarily put to the back. Afterwards, these 5 ancestors entered the Zanji Tower one by one, and challenged several games at the level of the ancestors of the Zanji Tower. As a result, the initial points are all lost. They were completely abused by the elite domain ancestors of the Dark Sanctuary, and they could not beat the domain ancestors of the Dark Sanctuary at all. They even exchanged some treasures on their bodies for points. Instead of continuing to challenge, they exchanged a secret technique that was good for them. At least they exchanged the treasures they didn't need to exchange for a secret technique that was useful to them. You can also improve a little strength. They are very interested in many inheritances in the Battlefield Tower, but the points are not enough. However, it was impossible to compete with the elite domain ancestors of the Dark Sanctuary. How to get a lot of points? After the 5 elite domain ancestors pondered for a while, they prepared the half-step domain ancestors of the Xuanshu taboo world to start. The Xuanshu taboo realm can give birth to a large number of taboo treasures, and in the realm of the gods, how precious the taboo treasures are. And here, Ida's just like not wanting money, too much. Therefore, the net worth of the half-step ancestors here is probably higher than that of many ancestors. If they rob the ancestors of the half-step domain here, their net worth will skyrocket many times. As a result, some half-step ancestors were unlucky. But in fact, it is not these half-step ancestors who are really unlucky, but themselves. Chapter 1324 The ancestors of the 5 domains were arrested and reduced to prisoners. 2nd. Mysterious taboo world. Many forces have more than one half-step domain ancestor, and there are even more half-step domain ancestors from human race, Haifeng Mountain, and Tiandi Palace. Soon, the powerful half-step ancestor disappeared. In the beginning, the disappearance of 1 or 2 half-step ancestors did not cause any trouble. After all, the half-step ancestor Shenlong disappeared for a while, and it was normal for him to disappear for a while. But if someone can't get in touch with the ancestors of the half-step domain, and when one of the ancestors of the half-step domain can't be reached, the half-step domain ancestors communicate with each other a little and immediately know that something big has happened. This day, a half-step ancestor of the human race disappeared. This news immediately contacted Yi Tian. A newly promoted half-step ancestor has disappeared and cannot be contacted. Yi Tian immediately thought of How High Sea ancestor and those foreign ancestors. How High Heizu should not dare to attack the half-step ancestor of the human race, 530, otherwise he would be courting death. The Heavenly Emperor Palace knew part of his strength. After all, his record was in the Zanji Tower. As long as the Heavenly Emperor Palace was not stupid, it would not take the initiative to offend him. Therefore, the biggest possibility is that those new domain ancestors, who don't know much about the situation, have misjudged his strength, or don't believe it, so they dare to attack the half-step domain ancestors of the human race. As for the purpose of these domain ancestors, he is not clear for the time being. But, you are looking for death. Yi Tian left the human world and came to the War World Tower. His copying talent has always shrouded this area. Once a domain ancestor appears, he will directly capture it without saying a word. At first, Yi Tian did not find these domain ancestors. But he believes that these domain ancestors are either inside the Zhangji Tower, or they will come to the Zhangji Tower. After all, everyone is very interested in the Dark Sanctuary, and it is impossible not to enter the War Realm Tower. This day, a domain ancestor came out of the Zhangji Tower. This domain ancestor is the 1000 Change Domain Ancestor. After the 1000 Variation Domain Ancestor came out of the War Realm Tower, he left this Forbidden Void Realm, but he was stopped by Yi Tian before he left. Returning to the One Realm Half-Step Domain Ancestor, I just spent the points, and you are sent to the door again. 1000 Changes Domain Ancestor grabbed with one hand and tried to catch Yi Tian. For him, catching a half-step domain ancestor is simply too simple. However, at this moment, a golden thread instantly pierced through his big hand and through his body. At this moment, it was Yi Tian who used the golden thread holy technique. Of course, Yi Tian kept his hand and didn't kill him, otherwise, an elite domain ancestor in his area would not be able to stop Yi Tian's golden silk holy skill, and he would be instantly killed. The 1000 Changes domain ancestor did not die, but was severely injured. At this time, Yi Tian has used another holy skill, 5 Elements Ban. This holy skill can seal the power of others. The 1000 Changes domain ancestor was banned from the 5 elements, and all the power in his body was sealed, and he had no resistance at all. With his strength, he couldn't break the sacred power of the 5 elements, and he could only become Yi Tian's prisoner. How so? The 1000 Changes domain ancestor was dumbfounded. A half-step domain ancestor of the One Realm hit him hard with one move, and the second move sealed his cultivation strength. Is this still the ancestor of the half-step domain of the homeland? You are the patriarch of all Dharma. 1000 Transformation domain ancestor said in shock. Yes, it's me, Yi Tian said with a smile. The 1000 Changes domain ancestor smiled bitterly. In fact, they came to the Xuanshu Taboo realm. They also inquired about the powerhouses in the Xuanshu Taboo realm. However, when someone said that the strongest person in the Xuanshu Taboo realm was the Wanfa Daozu, he was much stronger than the domain ancestor, and even when the elite domain ancestors were no opponents, he didn't believe it at all. In his opinion, people in the Xuanshu Taboo world have too little knowledge, and they don't even know what an elite domain ancestor is. Therefore, he did not take this news seriously at all. Only now did he know that the news was true, and he paid the price for it. Wanfa Daozu, I have never offended you, why did you deal with me? Please, let me go. The ancestor of the 1000 Change domain begged for mercy. The Xuanshu Taboo world has recently lost some half-step ancestors, and our human race has also lost a half-step ancestor, what do you think? Yi Tian's voice became cold. I didn't do it, Qinbi and Yuzu hurriedly said. It must be the other 4 Yuzu ancestors. There are 4 more domain ancestors, which 4? Yi Tian asked. The ancestor of the 6 poles, the ancestor of the Kangyan domain, the ancestor of the Tianyan domain, and the ancestor of the Moyu domain, must be one of them who killed the half-step domain ancestor of your human race. I really didn't do it. The 1000 Change domain ancestor explained. Where are they? Yi Tian asked. Still at the battlefield tower. 1000 Changes domain ancestral Dao. I know. Yi Tian threw the 1000 Changes domain ancestor into the space hall of the universe within his body, but he had no resistance and could not escape. Subsequently, Yi Tian continued to squat outside the Zhangji Pagoda. The ancestors of Lu Ji Yu, Kangyan Yu, Tianyan Yu and Mo Yu Yu came out of the Zhangji Pagoda. These 5 elite domain ancestors do not admit that they killed the half-step domain ancestor of the human race, but Yi Tian is very clear that it must be one of them, and the missing half-step domain ancestor from the Xuanshu Taboo world must be the 5 of them. 4. Therefore, these 5 people cannot stay beyond the human world. A famous half-step domain ancestor came here one after another, and even the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master also came here with an incarnation. Because Yi Tian announced that he had arrested the culprit who made the half-step ancestors of the Xuanshu Taboo world keep disappearing. He was 5 elite domain ancestors. Today, he wants to kill these 5 ancestors outside the human world, for those who disappeared in the Xuanshu Taboo world. The fallen half-step domain ancestor takes revenge. As soon as the news came out, many people were shocked, even the owner of Function Mountain came. Wow, Yi Tian appeared, and then with a wave, 5 elite domain 5.8 ancestors whose power had been sealed appeared. Wanfa Daozu, please, let me go. Wanfa Daozu, we really didn't kill the half-step ancestor of your human race. I didn't do it, I'm really wronged. These elite domain ancestors begged for mercy one by one, completely lacking the demeanor of domain ancestors. Unexpected, they saw Function Mountain Master, and one of them happened to know Function Mountain Master. Function Mountain Master, Wanfa Daozu is the half-step ancestor of your Haifeng Mountain. Please persuade him, don't let him kill me, I am the subordinate of Shijing Yuzu. Function Mountain Master, you should know Shijing. The strength of the ancestor of the domain. The ancestor of the sixth pole said. Ancestor of the sixth realm, I can't persuade me. Function Mountain Lord shook his head. P.S. A new book recommended by Friends Basketball, begin with a slam dunk. Chapter 1325 Come to the Emperor and #039, S Palace, suppress. Third. Wanfa Yuzu, for the sake of Shijing Yuzu, don't kill me. You may not know Shijing Yuzu, but Function Mountain Master knows that he is the top domain ancestor, but at the top domain ancestor level. Having reached the level of perfection, it is only one step away from breaking through to the ancestors of the strong domain. The ancestor of the six poles hurriedly said. Top domain ancestor. Yi Tian sneered. You shouldn't know my identity yet, I have now become the first son of Zanmen, one of the 10 sacred gates of the Dark Sanctuary, and the top domain ancestor is in Zanmen. It's nothing at all, even the ancestors of the strong domain are not high level in the war gate. Only the ancestors of the invincible domain can barely be regarded as high level. And my status is higher than the general ancestors of the strong domain. What are you talking about with me? Crystal domain ancestor. Do you believe it or not, in my words, there is an invincible domain ancestor who crossed the dark forbidden area to come here. Besides, the top domain ancestor in the area, do you think you can threaten me? The ancestors of the six poles were stunned. The ancestor of Shi Jingyu is the top existence in the realm of the gods, and he did not expect that it would be useless for him to move out of the ancestor of the stone crystal. And Function Mountain Master is not familiar with him, he just knows the existence of Function Mountain Master, and it is impossible for Function Mountain Master to help him speak. Wanfa Daozu, do you really want to kill me? The ancestor of the six poles asked. Good, Yi Tian affirmed. No matter how big your background is, the powerhouses of the Dark Sanctuary can't come over in a short time, but the ancestor of Shijingyu may arrive here soon. You are definitely not the opponent of ancestor of Shijingyu, you kill me to offend you. Shijingyu ancestor, why is it necessary to invite murder? The ancestor of the six poles roared. Then let him come, just to be with you. After Yi Tian finished speaking, he directly put a hand on the shoulder of the ancestor of the sixth realm. Next moment, the ancestors of the six polar regions turned into ashes and completely fell and died. Do not kill me, Wanfa Daozu, I know I'm wrong. 1. No, boom boom boom, the elite domain ancestors were like ants, turning into ashes one by one under the watchful eyes of the public. This is the ancestor of the 5 elite domains. The domain ancestors were their lifelong goals, but now these 5 elite domain ancestors were easily wiped out by Yi Tian. Among them, Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia shivered all over. They also all know the existence of these 5 elite domain ancestors. They are powerful elite domain ancestors, even stronger than their How High domain ancestors. They are the famous elite domain ancestors in the realm of God. But now, they are dead. What does this mean? Even How High Sea ancestor, if he offends Yi Tian, he will be killed easily. Fortunately, the Heavenly Emperor did not emerge, otherwise, among those who fell today, there might be a Heavenly Emperor. The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace murmured. The death of the 5 elite domain ancestors had a great impact on everyone. Especially Function Mountain Master, he knew that he underestimated Yi Tian and thought that Yi Tian was only comparable to the elite domain ancestors, but Yi Tian easily captured the 5 elite domain ancestors, and it seemed that there was no fierce battle. Otherwise, he would definitely be able to sense it. This shows that Yi Tian's strength is far beyond these 5 elite domain ancestors, perhaps not to the top domain ancestor level, but definitely not far. Such a powerhouse might be comparable to the Blackwind Mountain Master of their Blackwind Mountain, and even vaguely overwhelm him. Although Yi Tian is still a member of Haifeng Mountain, he does not dare to use Haifeng Mountain to bind Yi Tian. Subsequently, 1.5 step ancestors left, and this matter was publicized. In the future, if there is a domain ancestor who enters the Xuanshu Taboo world again, I am afraid that it will be Loki, otherwise the fate of the 5 elite domain ancestors will be their fate in the future. Yi Tian returned to the human world, and an acquaintance found Yi Tian. Jor, why are you here? Yi Tian asked. Ouyang Jor pleaded. Brother Yi, I know that your strength is very strong now, I am afraid that you can easily kill How Hai Heizu, I am afraid that I will not be able to kill Hao Hai Heizu in my life, so I beg you to avenge me. Kill Hao Hai Si ancestor. Yi Tian pondered for a while. Can't you? Ouyang Jor was worried that Yi Tian would not be willing, and was a little nervous. You can. Yi Tian smiled and said. However, I will not kill him, I will ban his strength. How about you kill him yourself? Thank you, Brother Yi. Ouyang Jor said excitedly. This day, Yi Tian descended to Tiandi Palace. Hao Hai Heizu, come out. Yi Tian's voice filled the Tiandi Palace. Wow, the incarnation of the Dragon Shadow Palace Lord came out and said respectfully, I have seen the Daozu of Wanfa, I don't know why the Taoist of Wanfa came to say what. Look for your Hao Hai Si ancestral emperor. Yi Tian said directly. The master of the Dragon Shadow Palace smiled and said, don't be kidding me, the Dao ancestor of 10,000 laws. Hao Hai Si ancestor is in the realm of gods and heaven, and we can't call out Hao Hai Si ancestor in such a far-away dark forbidden area. Are you sure? Yi Tian said coldly. If it wasn't for sure that Hao Hai Si ancestor came here, I would come here. Not long ago, you all went to the edge of the dark forbidden area in person, and received Hao Si ancestor's return. You think I don't know? Thissa Aa. The look of the Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace changed greatly. This matter is very secret, but they sneaked to meet Hao Hai Heizu. How did this matter leak? How did Wanfa Daozu know? Did he just happen to see it? But at that time, why didn't Wanfa Daozu appear? He didn't even know that someone inside him had tipped off. Palace Master Junwu was Ouyang Jor's subordinate, so he would naturally pass on information. Therefore, the people of the Heavenly Emperor Palace could not hide Yi Tian. Hao Hai Heizu really didn't come back. The Dragon Shadow Palace Master still said the same thing. 530. It seems that the Heavenly Emperor Palace doesn't want to exist anymore. Yi Tian held the heaven-slaying spear and stabbed it. Boom! The great formation of the Heavenly Emperor Palace was completely shattered, and there was not even a chance to block a single move. Suddenly, the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master were shocked. The great formation of their Heavenly Emperor Palace can fully resist the attack of ordinary domain ancestors. Even the full force of the elite domain ancestors cannot break the great formation of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. This is also one of their reliances. However, in Yi Tian's eyes, this kind of reliance is like a piece of paper. Horrible, many palace masters feared in their hearts. Hao Hai ancestor has come back, you say? Yi Tian grabbed a half-step domain ancestor who had just been promoted and asked. No, the half-step domain ancestor replied. Then go to death. Having said that, Yi Tian is about to kill him. Under the fear of death, the half-step domain ancestor immediately replied, Wanfa Daozu don't kill me, Hao Hai Heizu came back, and now I don't know where, I don't know anything. The Thunder Tribulation Palace Master and Long Shadow Palace Master, they know. At the beginning, Hao Hai Heizu left only the two of them. It seems that they talked about that mysterious treasure, other things, I don't know. As soon as these words came out, the Palace Master Longying and the Palace Master Lei Jia were extremely angry, wishing they could kill this half-step ancestor. Chapter 1326 The strong men in the Black Wind Mountain are coming. Fourth more. Yi Tian didn't kill this half-step domain ancestor, there was no need. He stared at Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia, and asked, where is Hao Hai Heizu? Do not know, the Dragon Shadow Palace Lord bit himself to death without knowing it. He will not betray Hao Heizu, and he really doesn't know where Hao Heizu is. He only knew that Hao Hai Heizu entered the place where the Void Sacred Tree was, but he didn't know where the Void Sacred Tree was, so he didn't know. The Palace Master Lei Jia also said that he did not know and would not betray Hao Hai Heizu. Do you think that if you don't tell me, I don't know? Yi Tian instantly sealed the cultivation base of the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master with the 5 elements ban. In the past, he was too lazy to deal with Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia because it was unnecessary, but now that Ouyang Jor was begging him, he naturally wanted to help. Moreover, the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and Lei Jia Palace Master attacked him at the beginning, so their relationship is not good. If it wasn't for the fact that they fought side by side with each other in the past and fought against the Devouring Clan together, he would have already destroyed the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master. This time, he was too lazy to kill these two. However, he must know the whereabouts of Hao Hai ancestor. With the means of the Xuanshu Taboo realm, there is no way to obtain any information from the soul of the half-step ancestor of the unified realm, but there are many secret techniques in the War Gate. Immediately, Yi Tian performed a secret technique of the War Gate, Soul-chasing technique on the Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace. This kind of secret technique can track a certain kind of memory in other people's souls, lock the memory for exploration, and easily get the information you want. Boom! With the soul-chasing technique, Yi Tian easily found the information he wanted. He also probed the palace master Lei Jia and confirmed that the information was correct. Void sacred tree, void sacred fruit, slate, I didn't expect the truth to be like this. Yi Tian murmured in his heart. Obviously, Hao Hai Heizu is no longer in the Heavenly Emperor Palace, but went to the space where the void sacred tree is located. However, Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia did not know where Hao Hai Heizu was, but only knew where the other party went. How to find the void tree? Yi Tian said that he did not know, but Zanman did not necessarily know. He's gone. Palace Master Longying and Palace Master Lei Jia breathed a sigh of relief. And the half-step ancestor who betrayed the Tiandi Palace had already fled, and now he has nowhere to go. Chasing the Qing Shui Palace Master, how dare you betray the Heavenly Emperor Palace? The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace gave an order. Battlefield Tower. Yi Tian returned here, entered the battlefield, and looked for information about the Void Sacred Tree. Soon, he found detailed information about the Void Sacred Tree. The Void Sacred Tree can give birth to Void Sacred Fruit and condense the Void Sacred Body. It is also one of the almost extinct sacred trees, and once the Void Sacred Fruit is refined, it can be directly condensed into the Void Sacred Body, inherited. This kind of Void Holy Fruit is very rare, but in fact, as long as it is combined with the Void Fruit, you can practice the Void Holy Body inheritance and condense the Void Holy Body. Although the Void Fruit is also rare, it is not extinct, but it is still not a treasure that ordinary people can get, and the inheritance of the Void Holy Body is also extremely precious. The Void Sacred Tree is almost extinct, and only one Void Sacred Fruit can be born. Once the Void Sacred Fruit is refined, the potential will increase a lot. In the future, it will be possible to become the Supreme Domain Ancestor, and there is even a glimmer of hope to be promoted to the Invincible Domain Ancestor. It is conceivable how high the value of the Void Sacred Fruit is. If it appears in the Dark Sanctuary, I am afraid that I don't know how many top Domain Ancestors, even the most powerful Domain Ancestors, are fighting for it. Regarding the above records, it is similar to what he learned from the soul of the Dragon Shadow Palace Master. But what Yi Tian is looking for is to find the Void Sacred Tree, not the introduction above. There is no record of how to find the Void Sacred Tree. Yi Tian also knew that the information recorded in the book collection pavilion of the War Realm was only a small part, and the real War Gate book pavilion had endless books. Immediately, Yi Tian used his identity as the first Holy Son to apply to mobilize all the information about the Void Holy Tree to him. He still has this right. So, it didn't take long for all the information about the Void Sacred Tree to be delivered to him. And this information is very comprehensive, and it also has information on how to cultivate the Void Sacred Tree, and even find ways to find the Void Sacred Tree. Prying into the Void with the power of Space Holy skills and sensing the fluctuations of the Holy Tree of the Void, before the Holy Fruit of the Void is about to ripen, you can sense it in advance. The longer it is from the Holy Fruit of the Void, the lower the probability of perception. Looking at this record, Yi Tian smiled. Space Holy skills, he will. How High Sea Ancestor must be waiting for the Void Sacred Fruit to mature. I just need to wait for the Void Sacred Fruit to ripen, use the Space Sacred skill to perceive it, and then enter there. At that time, the Void Sacred Fruit has not yet fully matured, and the How High Sea Ancestor does not it may be picked. Once I go in, there is no hope for the ancestors of the sea, and the Holy Fruit of the Void must belong to me. Yi Tian muttered. He was going to take the Holy Fruit of Void to his wife to replace the Holy Body before his wife. Hao Hai Heizu's lifelong efforts will eventually fail. Fortunately, I have the information about the War Gate, otherwise I don't know how to use the Space Holy skills to perceive, and I will definitely not be able to perceive it at that time, and I will not be able to enter the Void Holy Tree in advance. In that case, once the Void Holy Fruit matures, the vast sea area will Zhu is afraid that he will swallow it immediately. 1. Yi Tian thought to himself. Subsequently, Yi Tian left the boundary tower and returned to the G boundary. After returning, he sensed it with the Space Holy skill, Void / but he didn't sense anything. Obviously, the Void Sacred Fruit is still very early to mature, and it is not yet time. So, Yi Tian continued to retreat and practice ascetic, and told Liang Jor that Hao Heizu was hiding in a mysterious place Li Hao and could not be found at present. When he came out, he would capture Hao Heizu. Subsequently, Yi Tian began to retreat and cultivate, and from time to time, he used the space holy technique false / to perceive the void holy tree. One day after hundreds of thousands of years, the powerhouses of Haifeng Mountain returned from the God Heaven realm across the dark forbidden realm. Boom! A black mountain tore apart the void and descended to the Daoshan boundary. The first time, Function Mountain Lord Clone brought a group of half-step domain ancestors to welcome the arrival of many powerhouses in Haifunction. But Yi Tian did not appear and was still in retreat. But the Mountain Master Function informed Yi Tian, but he did not ask Yi Tian to come to my. After all, with Yi Tian's current strength and status, the Lord of Haifeng Mountain is not as good as Yi Tian's status. Yi Tian is now the Holy Son of the Holy Gate. How can Haifeng Mountain be comparable to me? In the future, if Haifunction wants to enter the Dark Sanctuary, he is afraid that he will have to hug Yi Tian's thigh. Chapter 1327 The Three Major Mountain Masters. First update. The Black Mountain of Haifeng Mountain descended on the Daoshan boundary, and a large number of strong men flew out from it. At this time, the clone of Function Mountain Lord automatically dissipated. After all, the main body is here, so there is no need to maintain the clone. Daozu Jinshan and the others, as the family of Function, have never met the Lord of Haishan and the Lord of Haifeng, but they have also learned a lot of information from the Lord of Function. So, when the Haishan Mountain Lord and Haifeng Mountain Lord came, Jin Chen Daozu and others greeted them one after another. Meet the Haifeng Mountain Lord and the Haishan Mountain Lord. 1. The Lord of Haifeng Mountain is an elite domain ancestor who looks like a middle-aged fat man. He looks very kind, but it is not easy to be in charge of Haifeng Mountain. But the Montenegrin Mountain Master is a ruthless man, exuding a black aura, making people afraid to approach. Let's go to Xuanshu Tabu. The Black Wind Mountain Lord clears the way. I saw that the Black Mountain kept shrinking, gradually turned into the size of a palm, fell into his hands, and put it away. This Black Mountain is not a real mountain, but it is actually a high-level domain device. It is called the Black Domain Mountain. It is the treasure left by the first-generation Haifeng Mountain Lord to Haifeng Mountain. It has a strong defense and concealment effect. This time, the Black Wind Mountain crossed the dark forbidden area without encountering any major troubles and the losses were very small. Soon, they all came to Xuanshu Tabu World 530. Shortly after, Haifeng Mountain Lord, Haishan Mountain Lord, Function Mountain Lord, and the three Mountain Masters came to the outside world and wanted to meet Yi Tian. For the arrival of the three Mountain Masters, Yi Tian also gave face and entertained them. Human world, the three Mountain Masters were drinking and chatting with Yi Tian. Wanfa Daozu, we want to know about the situation in the Dark Sanctuary. I wonder if we can talk about it. Black Wind Mountain Main Road. Master Function also knows a lot about the situation. Yi Tian said. Function Mountain Master smiled and said, Myriad Fa Daozu, the things I have learned are only superficial things, and the half-step domain ancestors of the Zhanji Tower don't know much. 1. What do you want to know, otherwise I can't say it. Yi Tian said bluntly. Haifeng Mountain Lord quickly asked. Wanfa Daozu, we want to cross the Forbidden River, is there any other way? Yi Tian pondered for a while, and in fact he also understood the Forbidden River. It is reasonable to say that he does not have the strength of the Supreme Power Domain Ancestor. If he wants to cross the Forbidden River, he must die, but it is not absolute. It's not that there is no way. Yi Tian revealed. The Dark Sanctuary has 10 holy gates, one of which is the Forbidden Holy Gate. This holy gate is completely composed of forbidden creatures. The forbidden creatures in the river will also give face and will not embarrass you. Token, how to get token? The Black Wind Mountain Lord was a little excited. This is probably more difficult than breaking through to the Supreme Power Domain Ancestor. Yi Tian said, how powerful is the Taboo Saint sect, even the Supreme Power Domain Ancestor is not in their eyes, I am afraid that only the Supreme Domain Ancestor has the ability to compete with them. The qualifications they discussed. Moreover, they only recruit forbidden creatures, not cultivators, and it is too difficult to obtain their token. Wanfa Daozu, tell us a way we have hope. Black Wind Mountain Main Road. When I go to the Dark Sanctuary, follow me, I will take you there, this is the only way, otherwise I don't think you have any way to cross the Forbidden River. Yi Tian suggested. The three Mountain Masters don't think that Yi Tian can't cross the River of Taboos, after all, Yi Tian is only in the same state. If he breaks through to the ancestors of the domain, the elite domain ancestors, how terrifying the strength is, it is not difficult to take them through the River of Taboos. Then I will trouble the Daozu of Wanfa in the future. The Black Wind Mountain Lord put his face down and thanked him. Afterwards, the three mountain masters also learned more about the Dark Sanctuary from Yi Tian. In a word, the Supreme Power Domain Ancestor is really nothing in the Dark Sanctuary, but barely has the qualifications to build a city-level power. It is true that if you reach the Supreme Power Domain Ancestor, you can build a power that is courting death. I don't know how many giant cities have been destroyed in the Dark Sanctuary. If you don't have a backer, you can build a giant city today, and you will be trampled by nearby forces tomorrow. Therefore, in the Dark Sanctuary also, CJFI must find a backer. If there is no backing, the Supreme Power Domain Ancestor only has the qualifications to make a move, and will not be bullied casually. But once you reach the Invincible Domain Ancestor level, it will be different. That is to have a real status, to be admired by countless people, and even to establish a force that is enough to suppress the quartet. Wanfa Daozu, you killed the 5 elite domain ancestors, and you have offended the 5 top domain ancestors, be careful. I estimate that the 5 top domain ancestors will also come. Now the coordinates of the Daoshan boundary are no longer a secret. The powerhouses of the Divine Sky Realm will cross the Dark Forbidden Area at any time. Not to mention the top domain ancestors who are already on the road, if even now, if the top domain ancestors set off, they can cross over in 1 million years. The top domain ancestor is very fast, much faster than us. Before leaving, the Black Wind Mountain Lord reminded him. Haifeng Mountain Lord doesn't need to worry, it's just the top domain ancestor. Yi Tian didn't say much, but there was no fear of the top domain ancestor in his words. As soon as the 3 mountain masters heard it, they knew that Yi Tian had a trump card and was not afraid of the top domain ancestors. Although they don't know what the trump card is, the Holy Sect and the Sun must have means that they do not understand, so they will not remind them anymore. Shortly after, an ancestor of the domain came to the Daoshan realm, and there were many top domain ancestors, and one of the top domain ancestors was the suzerain of Tianyan domain ancestors, Tianrui domain ancestors. The ancestor of Tian Ruiyu was following Haifeng Mountain, while his subordinate Tian Yinyu was following the ancestor of Hao Haixi. Therefore, as soon as the ancestor of Tian Ruiyu came to the Daoshan realm, he tried to contact the ancestor of Tian Yinyu, but he couldn't get in touch. Could it be that the ancestor of Tian Yinyu betrayed? Tian Ruiyuzu thought of this possibility. However, he felt that this possibility was unlikely, and Tian Yinyuzu would not be so stupid. Maybe the messenger on his body is damaged, and he cannot be contacted, or the place where he is located cannot be communicated. Tian Ruiyu thought to himself. Of course, there is another possibility, that is, the ancestor of Tian Yinyu has fallen. But he thought so. Wow, Tian Ruiyuzu led many of his own domain ancestors to the Xuanshu Taboo world. After entering the Xuanshu Taboo world, he inquired a little, and suddenly became furious. Wanfa Daozu, you are courting death. Tian Ruiyuzu said angrily. He never imagined that his capable subordinate, the Tianyan Yuzu at the elite domain ancestor level, would die at the hands of Wanfa Daozu. The elite domain ancestor died in the hands of the half-step domain ancestor of the reunification realm, which is unbelievable, but the fact is beyond doubt. He didn't know how Wanfa Daozu defeated Tianyan Yuzu, but he would not let Wanfa Daozu go. This day, Tian Ruiyuzu led many domain ancestors to the void outside the human world. Today, he wants to break through the human world and wash the human race with blood. Chapter 1328 Destroy dozens of ancestors. Second. Boom, the ancestor of Tian Ruiyu slashed towards the human world with a sword. With the strength of his top domain ancestor, a sword should be able to easily destroy the human world. However, just when the sword of Tian Ruiyu ancestor was about to slash the human world, once the figure appeared, it stopped Tian Ruiyu's sword. The eternal and immortal Eucharist, open. Holy skill, holy armor, open. The power of the extreme way, open. Yi Tian dare not underestimate a top domain ancestor. No matter how weak Tianrui domain ancestor is, it is equivalent to a holy endowment of the unified level, and even stronger. Because the holy endowment of the triple limiter level can't keep erupting combat power, holy skills consume too much energy, and the cultivation base of the united realm is still too low, can't fight for a long time, must fight quickly. The weaker top domain ancestors are not the opponents of the perfected saints of the united realm, and will be killed quickly. But once it can't be killed, the final loser will be the saint. Therefore, Yi Tian would not underestimate Tianrui Yuzu. Even if Tianrui Yuzu was not a very powerful top domain ancestor, he could not be underestimated. If he didn't use the holy skills in the eternal and indestructible holy body, Yi Tian really couldn't beat Tianrui Yuzu. Moreover, not all the top domain ancestors of the realm are weak. Some domain ancestors are very able to hide, maybe they have obtained some inheritance in the dark forbidden domain, practiced the holy body, coupled with the perfect domain technique, and the combat power is also very exaggerated, far exceeding the ordinary triple transcendence. Encountering such a top domain ancestor, even if Yi Tian goes all out now, he will definitely not be able to beat him, unless he uses the forbidden Yuan blade. Boom! The sword of Tianrui Yuzu was blocked by Yi Tian and did not cause any damage to Yi Tian. This is just a casual sword, so Yi Tian has no way to judge the true strength of Tianrui Yuzu. However, he estimated that the strength of Tianrui Yuzu should not be strong. Tianrui Yuzu, you dare to attack the human world? Yi Tian said coldly. You are the ancestor of the Tao of Wanfa. You are indeed very evil. With the cultivation base of the ancestor of the half-step domain of the returning realm, you can stop my sword, but you dare not kill the ancestor of the Tianyan domain. Today, you must die. Tianrui domain ancestor killed intentionally boiling. Perhaps before, if his killing intent towards Yi Tian was only 80 points, it is now 100 points. The two sides have already forged a deadly feud. Yi Tian has just returned to the same realm, and he was able to block his move. If he waited for Yi Tian to break through to become the ancestor of the domain, wouldn't he be dead? Therefore, he must kill Yi Tian today. Besiege him. Tianrui Yuzu ordered. This time, he brought more than 30 domain ancestors, including 6 elite domain ancestors. He didn't bring other people here because he had to hurry, and this time crossing the dark forbidden area would be dangerous. Once he brought the entire sect's people, he would also feel distressed in case of heavy losses. Moreover, it would not be too late if he snatched the mysterious treasure, break through to the ancestor level of the super strong domain, and then go back and bring all the people from the sect. Boom! More than 30 domain ancestors shot together, and Hao Hai Wei Neng seemed to be able to erase Yi Tian and the human world together. 5 elements banned. Yi Tian used this holy skill and instantly blocked this area. Boom! Many domain ancestors bombarded the ban on the 5 elements, but they did not completely break the ban on the 5 elements. Are you that powerful? Yi Tian sneered. Immediately, he cast another holy skill, Streamer. Swish! Yi Tian's speed reached an unbelievable level, an ordinary domain ancestor did not react, and was instantly killed by Yi Tian with one blow. Puff puff! A famous ancestor died in Yi Tian's hands, and he couldn't stop the second move at all. Yi Tian's speed is too fast, even Tianrui Yuzu can't react, let alone other domain ancestors. Ordinary domain ancestors faced Yi Tian's speed as if they were wooden people, afraid that they would not notice anything when they died. The power gap is too great. How come so fast? Tianrui Yuzu was dumbfounded. What speed is this? Much faster than him. This is not normal. Yi Tian is only in the one realm and has completed his cultivation. Even if he cultivates a domain technique to the limit level, the speed cannot be too fast. Coupled with the completion of the holy body, the secret treasure, etc., all the means increase the speed, but there is still no way to be so much faster than the speed of his top domain ancestor, right? He didn't know holy skills, otherwise it would be strange. In short, his vision is too low, and he doesn't understand Yi Tian's defiantness at all. Soon, all the ordinary domain ancestors died, leaving only Tianrui domain ancestors and 6 elite domain ancestors. Tianrui Yuzu couldn't hit Yi Tian at all, and any speed-limiting domain techniques would hardly affect Yi Tian. Because of the holy technique streamer that Yi Tian casts, the power of holy technique can almost ignore the general speed-limiting domain technique. Ask for flowersa. Unexpected. A golden thread crossed the body of an elite domain ancestor in an instant. In an instant, the elite domain ancestor was cut into 2 pieces, and his body shattered a little bit. Elite domain ancestors, fallen. Concentrate, don't get killed alone. The ancestor of Tianruiyu passed the sound. The remaining 5 elite domain ancestors gathered together, and 4 of the elite domain ancestors all used defensive domain techniques to stack up. Then under the leadership of Tianrui Yuzu, retreat. That's right, the ancestors of Tianruiyu were discouraged and did not dare to fight again. Otherwise, not only the remaining elite domain ancestors will die, but he may also die. I was too impulsive, thinking that people in the Xuanshu taboo world deliberately boasted about the Daozu of Wanfa, but I didn't expect him to be more terrifying than the legend. Tianrui Yuzu regretted it. 0. Unexpected. Another golden thread came. The 4 elite domain ancestors teamed up with the superimposed defensive domain technique to try to block this blow, but the elite domain ancestor was not as powerful as a top domain ancestor. Yi Tian's blow can kill the top domain ancestors. Naturally it is not comparable to these 5 elite domain ancestors. They gather together, that's fast courting death. Puff puff puff. The 4 superimposed defensive domain shields were instantly broken, and then the 5 elite domain ancestors were cut in 2 sections by the golden thread holy technology, and then collapsed and died. With one blow, kill 5 elite domain ancestors. At this time, only Tianrui Yuzu was left. He wanted to escape, but was blocked by Yi Tian's 5 elements ban, and he couldn't break the block and leave. You will die under my strongest holy skill. Yi Tian unleashed his own space holy skill, false slash. I saw Yi Tian swipe casually, a holy skill similar to the space blade, and it was instantly cut off. And Tianrui Yuzu fully mobilized his defensive domain device, and held a high-level domain device sword, performed a sword domain technique of a great level, and collided with Yi Tian's virtual slash. Click. The sword of the superior domain device was cut off by the virtual cut, and the defensive domain device on the body was also cut off. In addition, the body of Tianrui Yuzu was also cut off. The vitality passed quickly, and the physical body could not stop disintegrating. What means is this? Tianrui Yu ancestor muttered. This is a holy technique beyond the domain technique. Yi Tian explained. I see. The ancestor of Tianrui Yu smiled bitterly, his consciousness collapsed, and he completely fell and died. Chapter 1329 Everyone is honest. Third, in the first battle, dozens of domain ancestors were wiped out. Around, the half-step ancestors who were watching were dumbfounded. And a few domain ancestors have also arrived in the realm of the gods in heaven, and they are hidden in the mysterious and taboo realm. When Tianrui Yuzu and Yi Tian fought, they naturally watched the battle secretly. They thought that the ancestor of Tianrui Yu could destroy the human world and kill the ancestor of the Tao of Wanfa. Unexpectedly, Yi Tian easily destroyed Tianrui Yuzu and the others, showing his invincible combat power. It's too scary. How could such a monstrous reunification be born in the Daoshan realm? An ancestor of the gods realm shivered. Originally, he wanted to rely on the strength of his domain ancestor to show off his might in the world of Xuanshu taboo, but now that he has witnessed Yi Tian's strength, he suddenly lost his mind, and was instantly discouraged. Far away, Haifeng Mountain Lord, Haishan Mountain Lord, and Fengshan Mountain Lord were also dumbfounded. Their 530 strength was far inferior to that of Tianrui Yuzu. Although Tianrui Yuzu is not the top domain ancestor of the top 10 rulers of the gods and heavens, his strength can definitely send people to the top 20. On the bright side, the top domain ancestors of the god heaven realm are only 50 or 60 now, and it is not weak to be in the top 20. But such a powerful ancestor of Tianrui was instantly killed by Yi Tian. What kind of terrifying power is this? Understood him. Black Wind Mountain Lord secretly said. He originally thought that Yi Tian was sure to resist the top domain ancestor, relying on some kind of secret treasure bestowed by Zanman. But now it seems that this is simply relying on its own strength. Wow! After Yi Tian put away the treasures of the dead ancestors, he turned around and returned to the human world. In the following days, the Xuanshu taboo world was very calm, and no one caused trouble. Even if the domain ancestors from the realm of the gods continue to come, they will not dare to cause trouble. Even the arrival of the top domain ancestor did not provoke Yi Tian. For example, the Shi Jingyu ancestor in the mouth of the six-pole ancestor, learned that Yi Tian killed the six-pole ancestor. Although he was angry, he didn't say anything. Because he already knew that Tianrui Yuzu died in Yi Tian's hands, and he was killed in one move, without any resistance. He thinks that his strength is stronger than that of Tianrui Yuzu, but his strength is very limited. How dare he provoke Yi Tian? Isn't that courting death? In the blink of an eye, another 1,000,000 years have passed. Many ancestors of the God Heaven realm came to the Xuanshu taboo realm, and used the taboo realm as a coordinate to contact the people in the God Heaven realm. Therefore, after tens of millions of years at most, there will definitely be a terrifying number of powerhouses in the realm of the gods and heavens that will reach the realm of Xuanshu and taboo. Yi Tian did not care about the domain ancestors and Taoist ancestors of the God Heaven realm, leaving them in the Xuanshu taboo realm. And these domain ancestors also gradually settled in the Xuanshu taboo world, where they established sect forces, recruited disciples, and expanded their forces. Apparently, they made it their future home. As for the realm of the gods, it is impossible for them to go back. Of course, the goal of those top domain ancestors is very clear, that is, mysterious treasures. The Heavenly Emperor Palace was monitored by them layer by layer, but unfortunately they could not find Hao Hai Heizu, otherwise they would have rushed into the Heavenly Emperor Palace long ago. This day, Yi Tian's eternal and indestructible holy body has made a breakthrough. It used to be in the late stage of Dachang, but now it has reached the peak of Dachang, and it is only one step away from breaking through to the perfection level of the holy body. The holy body breakthrough, Yi Tian's strength also improved a little. It is a pity that the progress of holy skills is average, and can only improve a little in the realm of Dachang. Space Saint Technique Void / still hasn't sensed the Void Holy Tree, it seems that it will take a while for the Void Holy Fruit to mature, continue to wait. Yi Tian muttered. Yi Tian knew where the ancestors of the How High Sea were, so he was not in a hurry, but the other top domain ancestors were anxious. On this day, a group of top domain ancestors who arrived in the realm of the gods contacted each other and started a meeting. This meeting was presided over by 5 top domain ancestors. These 5 top domain ancestors are not ordinary, they are much stronger than Tianrui domain ancestors, and they are the 5 masters of the gods' realm. They are the ancestor of the Red Dragon domain, the ancestor of the Wanren domain, the ancestor of the Arctic domain, the ancestor of the Tiansha domain, and the ancestor of the Shakyamuni domain. The status of these 5 domain ancestors is much higher than that of ordinary domain ancestors, so they are qualified to preside over such a meeting. At the beginning of the meeting, Chalong Yuzu said, How High Heizu confirmed that he is not in the Tiandi Palace, but now he has been looking for so long and has not found How High Heizu, so he can't wait any longer, otherwise there will be a change, it will not be good. I suggest directly threatening the half-step ancestors of the Tiandi Palace, let them tell the whereabouts of the ancestors of the How High Sea, and kill them if they don't say anything. If that's the case, wouldn't How High Sea ancestor not come out at all? I propose to capture the people of Tiandi Palace and interrogate How CC ancestors' whereabouts. If he really can't find out, I will threaten How CC ancestor to come out. Arctic region ancestor suggested. If How High Heizu still doesn't come out, what should we do? The ancestor of Tiansha asked. Then destroy the Tiandi Palace. 1. Ancestor Shakyamuni said coldly. After some discussion, this group of domain ancestors was finally ready to attack the Heavenly Emperor Palace. In the past, no matter how High Heizu escaped, they were all under their surveillance. But now, How High Heizu has escaped the surveillance, and he can't even deduce it. How can this be done? So, they have to do it. Moreover, with their strength, they can easily sweep the heavenly officials. This day, outside the Tiandi Palace, an ancestor of the domain came down. At this time, the expressions of the Palace Master Longying and the Palace Master Lei Jia changed greatly, and they even became terrified. Before, although Yi Tian broke through the Heavenly Emperor Palace, he did not kill any of them. But this group of domain ancestors is different, they will not be soft-hearted. Back then, they casually dispatched a few elite domain ancestors to shatter the How High Sea realm. Now that they have come to the Heavenly Emperor Palace, this posture is very bad at first glance. In the face of this group of domain ancestors, the Heavenly Emperor Palace couldn't keep up. Escape. The Lord of the Dragon Shadow Palace and others opened a large formation, covering this area of the Tiandi Palace. 5.8 These big formations are useless, the purpose is to block these ancestors. Then, a large number of half-step domain ancestors tore the void and left, and a few were able to escape. Their destination is the Zanji Tower. As long as they escape into the Zanji Tower, they will be safe. As for the weak members of the Heaven and Earth Palace, they couldn't protect them. However, the Dragon Shadow Palace Master sent a group of elites out of the Xuanxu Taboo realm earlier and hid in hidden branches in the Daoshan realm, so that the Heavenly Emperor Palace would not collapse. As for the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and Lei Jia Palace Master, they are not stupid. This is the strategy they have changed since Yi Tian breached the Heavenly Emperor Palace. They didn't even notify How High Sea Ancestor and decided to do so. Therefore, the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and Lei Jia Palace Master who stayed in the Tiandi Palace were just incarnations. Chapter 1330 I finally found it. Fourth more. Boom. The great formation of the Tiandi Palace was easily torn apart by the ancestors, and then they began to intercept those people in the Tiandi Palace. Most were intercepted, and only a few insignificant people escaped. In fact, these domain ancestors are too lazy to chase, because it is enough to capture some important people. Except for the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master, none of the other half-step ancestors could escape, and they were all intercepted. Where is How High Heizu? The ancestors of Tiansha Yu interrogated one of the palace masters. Do not know, the palace lord responded. Under the inquiries of many domain ancestors again and again, these palace masters answered that they did not know. Since then, these domain ancestors began to torture these half-step domain ancestors with cruel means, and finally some of these half-step domain ancestors couldn't bear it anymore. We really don't know, only the two palace masters, Longying Palace Master and Lei Jia Palace Master, know. Moreover, Wanfa Daozu forcibly searched the soul of Longying Palace Master and Lei Jia Palace Master, and Wanfa Daozu should also know. A Palace Lord confessed. Dragon 29 Shadow Palace Master and Thunder Tribulation Palace Master. Many domain ancestors wrinkled, because these two guys only have clones in the Heavenly Emperor Palace, and the main body is not there. Don't think about it, it must be in the battlefield tower. Once the two of them don't come out, they can't catch them either. They are all domain ancestors, and they enter the War Realm Tower and enter the domain ancestor area. Moreover, in addition to the battle platform, the Battle World Tower cannot be killed in other places, and it is useless to kill there. Therefore, as long as the Palace Master Longying and the Palace Master Lei Jia do not come out, there is nothing they can do about them. If the propaganda goes out, if the ancestors of Hao Hai Si do not come out, we will kill all the people in the Tiandi Palace. Moreover, his son, the Master of the White Tiger Palace, will surely die. 1. The 5 top domain ancestors ordered. Immediately, the domain ancestors under their command spread the news, which immediately aroused the shock of countless forces in the entire Xuanshu Taboo world. The Heavenly Emperor Palace was once the #1 force in the Xuanshu Taboo world. Now, not long after, it has been reduced to the point where it is about to be destroyed. It's all changing so fast. Human world. Yang Jor once again begged Yi Tian's head because the Palace Master Junwu was arrested. If he didn't save him, then the Palace Master Junwu would probably die. Yi Tian agreed immediately, so he just sent an avatar to the ruins of the Tiandi Palace. Those domain ancestors still stayed here and did not leave. When Yi Tian came, it attracted the attention of many domain ancestors. Myriad Dharma Taoist. The 5 top domain ancestors such as the Scarlet Dragon domain ancestor were a little wary of Yi Tian's arrival. Even if it was just an avatar, they were afraid that Yi Tian would do something, so they made preparations for the battle. I'm not here to fight, I'm just here to ask for someone. Yi Tian said lightly. Who does Wanfa Daozu want? Asked Chalong Yuzu. Palace Master Junwu. Yi Tian said. What does Wanfa Daozu want Junwu Palace Master to do? Tiansha Yuzu was curious, but did not immediately agree. Palace Master Junwu is my friend Yang Jor's subordinate, he has been undercover in the Heavenly Emperor Palace, his status in the Heavenly Emperor Palace, he has no place in the heart of Hao Hai Heizu, hand him over to me, otherwise, I will take care of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Step in. Yi Tian threatened. Many domain ancestors were very angry, but they were suppressed by the 5 top domain ancestors. Okay, true martial ancestor for you. The ancestor of the Chalong domain discussed with the other 4 top domain ancestors and decided. They are still in a cooperative relationship for the time being, and their opinions must be unified, otherwise the cooperation will fail, and if they compete with each other, it will be chaotic. They didn't want Yi Tian to get involved. Yi Tian knew about the existence of Hao Hai Si ancestor, but he didn't go to find Hao Si ancestor. Maybe he wasn't interested in that mysterious treasure. If because of the Junwu Palace Master, he has one more competitor, then it is not a good thing. Palace Master Junwu, you are a traitor, I would like you to be Yang Jor's subordinate, no wonder a lot of information about our Heavenly Emperor Palace will be leaked for no reason. Palace Master Shuangui said angrily. The other Palace Masters also glared at Junwu Palace Master. But the Palace Master Junwu doesn't care. Now that he is exposed, he doesn't need to stay in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. These domain ancestors released Junwu Palace Master, and Yi Tian left with Junwu Palace Master. Thank you Wanfa Daozu, Palace Master Junwu said gratefully. Don't thank me, thank Yang Jor if you want, he asked me to save you. Yi Tian said lightly. Afterwards, Yi Tian returned to the human world with the Palace Master Junwu. For the time being, Palace Master Junwu has nowhere to go, so he can only stay temporarily in the human world. With the passage of time, Hao Hai Si ancestor has not appeared, causing those domain ancestors to be very angry, beheading 1.5 step domain ancestors and a large number of Taoist ancestors. Void Sacred Tree Space. Hao Hai Heizu also received a message from the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the others, but he didn't dare to go out. Once he goes out, does the Void Sacred Fruit still have anything to do with him? Even, his life may not be over. Therefore, he was indifferent when he learned that many half-step ancestors and Taoist ancestors of the Tiandi Palace had been arrested. Even his own son Baihu Palace Master was worried about his life, so he held back. For someone like him who pursues strength, it's a big deal to have some sons in the future. For a higher realm, he can sacrifice everything. 530. The ancestor of the Red Dragon domain, the ancestor of the Tiansha domain, the ancestor of the Wanren domain, the ancestor of the Arctic domain, the ancestor of the Shakya domain, when I refine the holy fruit of the void, and the future strength will be upgraded to the level of the ancestor of the strong domain, you will all have to die. How Hai Heizu swore. Shortly after, seeing that the ancestors of the How Hai Sea would not appear, the ancestors of the Red Dragon region directly killed everyone in the Tiandi Palace. After all, it has already been offended, and it is useless to keep these people, so why not kill them and keep them? Moreover, some domain ancestors specially guarded outside the War Realm Tower, waiting for the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master to come out. It is a pity that the Palace Master Longdiang and the Palace Master Lei Jia are not stupid and cannot come out. In the blink of an eye, another 4 million years have passed. This day, How Hai Sea ancestor is very excited, because the void sacred fruit will be fully mature in a few hundred years. Ha ha ha, other domain ancestors are still looking for me, and they don't know about the void holy fruit at all. When I refine the void holy fruit, they are afraid that they will perceive the breath of the void holy tree, and it will be too late by then. How Hai Heizu waited patiently and did not dare to stop for a moment. At the same time, Yi Tian used the space holy technique virtual slash to perceive the holy tree of void. Boom, Yi Tian sensed the aura of the void sacred tree, and he even sensed a space. Found it. Yi Tian got excited. Chapter 1331 Copy the Talent Inheritor, the Ancestor Law. Void Sacred Tree Space. A figure suddenly came in, and How Hai Heizu, who had been staying here, was stunned. It stands to reason that no one should be able to find it here, right? The space where the void holy tree is located is automatically hidden. If there is no accurate coordinates, it is impossible to shuttle in. The person who comes must have sensed the coordinates here before entering. But even if the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Lei Jia Palace Master both betrayed him and disclosed all the things about the void sacred tree to all the domain ancestors, those domain ancestors could not find it here. Only when the sacred fruit of the void is truly mature and the power of the sacred tree of the void radiates the mysterious and taboo world, can the ancestors of the outside world perceive the existence of the sacred tree of the void. Moreover, if you don't understand the void sacred tree and think it's just an ordinary treasure, maybe it won't come. Return to one realm half-step domain ancestor. How Hai Heizu saw Yi Tian's cultivation, not only did not calm down, but became nervous. If he did not guess wrong, this person is very likely to be the ancestor of Wanfa. Your Excellency is the Patriarch of Wanfa? How Hai Heizu asked. Yes, it's me, Yi Tian admitted. This is mine. Yi Tian did not give How Hai Heizu any face, and directly declared the ownership of this place. Wanfa Daozu, this void sacred tree is my thing, I planted it here myself, why do you occupy this place? How Hai Heizu was not convinced. At this moment, Yi Tian shot. 5 elements banned. As soon as this holy skill came out, it instantly sealed How Hai Sea ancestor. Compared with Yi Tian, How Hai Sea ancestor is too weak and has no resistance at all. Wanfa Daozu, what are you doing? How Hai Sea ancestor said in fear. Yi Tian smiled, it's nothing, it's just to capture you, the daughter of the previous heavenly emperor, the palace master Hanyu you called, she asked me to avenge her. Therefore, I will capture you and seal your cultivation. Let her kill you. Myriad Dharma Dao ancestor, please, let me go, I can give up the void sacred fruit. How Hai Heizu begged for mercy. I don't need you to give up, because the void sacred fruit already belongs to me, is it possible that you are still confident that I won't be able to grab it? Yi Tian sneered. Immediately, Yi Tian threw How Hai Sea ancestor into the inner world. Then, he was here waiting for the void sacred fruit to ripen. Strange, why do I feel like I have a weak connection with this void sacred tree? Yi Tian asked curiously. Before, when he hadn't entered here, he didn't have this feeling, but as soon as he entered this space, he felt a weak connection but he couldn't say any connection. Unexpected, Yi Tian shrouded the void sacred tree with copy talent. At this point, the mutation began. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Yi Tian's copying talent seemed to have entered a special void and saw a phantom. This is the phantom of an old man, standing there, as if far above the existence of the ancestors. Strong, even on the supreme domain ancestor, Yi Tian did not sense this pressure. Could it be the ancestor? Yi Tian said in shock. But isn't this void sacred tree planted by the ancestors of How High C? How could it be related to the ancestors? Ha ha ha, copy talent inheritor, you are finally here. The old man spoke up. As soon as these words came out, Yi Tian was stunned. Copy talent inheritor. This shows that the old man knows him and also knows the talent of copying. He never told anyone about copying talent. Could it be? Yi Tian had some guesses in his heart. What I stay here is just a little bit of power that spans the long river of time and space, just to wait for the copy talent inheritor. Only when the copy talent inheritor enters here, can I stimulate this power and let me show up. If there is no one all the time if it comes, then this power will be silent forever. I don't know who you are, but I know you are definitely here. You may not even know the origin of the copying talent you have acquired, and you may even wonder where it came from. I have passed a slate. After my research, this slate is a special treasure, which is related to talent. Unfortunately, even I can't use it. I only know that it can copy any talent. This kind of thing is too evil, I dare not tell anyone. In an accident, I realized that I was about to fall, so I left this slate. No matter who it falls into in the future, it will only choose the person it approves. Remember, don't reveal it the secret of copying talent. Even I don't know the potential of this talent. I left a legacy inside the Void Holy Tree, remember my name, the Void Ancestor. Boom, the figure of the Void Ancestor has turned into a book. This book is completely composed of taboo rules and is full of endless mysteries. Yi Tian's consciousness contained this book. Wow. The classics entered Yi Tian's soul, and with the entry of Yi Tian's consciousness, countless contents and inheritance entered Yi Tian's memory. There is not only a lot of knowledge on this, but also a very precious inheritance, the ancestor law. The so-called ancestor law is a word of inheritance that is completely condensed by one's own way, and the inheritance of the ancestor of the void is emptiness. He is proficient in the way of space, the ultimate culmination of all the ways of space condensed, that is, the ancestor method of emptiness. If you want to become the ancestor, you must master the ancestor law. You can practice other people's ancestral methods, or you can create your own ancestral methods. However, if you want to create your own ancestor law, you can't do it at all. At least you need to get someone else's ancestor law, so as to understand your own ancestor law. Therefore, the inheritance of the ancestor law is almost a necessary inheritance. If there is no first ancestor law, then you will never think of breaking through to the first ancestor realm in your life, unless you encounter the opportunity to be greedy even for the first ancestor. But such an opportunity, the ancestors have to snatch desperately. There is no supreme ancestor, why snatch? I actually obtained an ancestor method, and it's the ancestor method of space, which is too precious. 1. Yi Tian said in shock. The space ancestor law is roughly divided into 3 parts: the ancestor battle body, the ancestor road, and the power of the ancestor. The entry requirement for cultivation is the ancestor of the strong domain. If you don't have the strength of the ancestor of the strong domain, don't even think about practicing the ancestor method. Okay, if you can't get it right, it's a waste of time. In addition, Yi Tian has also learned a lot of knowledge, which can reduce many wrong paths for the future. In short, the inheritance of the ancestors of the void this time is too precious, and it is simply many times more precious than holy skills. Unfortunately, this inheritance does not include holy skills. This is also very normal. After all, holy skills need to create inheritance, and the ancestor of the void has no time to create 2 inheritances. Moreover, holy skills are not precious to the ancestors of the void. The 10 holy gates of the dark sanctuary have many holy skills, so the ancestors of the void are too lazy to create holy skills inheritance. I got the inheritance method of the ancestors of the void. Even if I can't comprehend my own ancestors in the future, I can be promoted to the ancestors. If I add the talent of copying, even among the ancestors, I am afraid that I will be enough to become the top ancestor. Wait. Yi Tian secretly said. At this moment, his future is bright. If the ancestors of the supreme domain knew about Yi Tian's fate, they would be extremely jealous. Chapter 1332 The Space Holy Skill is complete. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of years have passed. At this time, the void sacred fruit is ripe. Yi Tian took the void sacred fruit and left here at the fastest speed. Buzz. The fluctuations of the void sacred tree spread to the outside world, and the fluctuations are getting bigger and bigger. As a result, an ancestor of the domain entered the space where the void sacred tree was located along the wave, and only saw the void sacred tree without the void sacred fruit. They don't know the void sacred tree, they just feel that this is a special treasure land, and if they comprehend and cultivate here, it is much better than the outside world. As a result, these domain ancestors competed for the right to belong here. And Yi Tian took away the most precious ancestor law inheritance and void sacred fruit. That void sacred tree was of little value to him, so he was not interested in fighting for it. After returning to the human world, Yi Tian gave the void sacred fruit to his wife Xiao Yu and asked her to refine the void sacred fruit. In this way, Xiao Yu's potential will increase a lot, and his strength will be much stronger, and he can easily become the supreme ancestor in the future. Human world, a void. Yi Tian and Ouyang Jor came here, and he also blocked the surrounding void to prevent others from spying. Jor, How High Sea Ancestor, I brought it here. Yi Tian released How High Sea Ancestor, but at this moment, How Sea Ancestor was still sealed and his cultivation base was very weak. Not to mention threatening Yi Tian, even Ouyang Jor could easily be crushed to death. How High Sea Ancestor. How High Sea Ancestor. Ouyang Jor was full of anger and killing intent. How High Heizu has never seen the reincarnation of Ouyang Jor, but he guessed it. You are Hanyu, I was wrong in the beginning, forgive me. Forgive you? Impossible, Ouyang Jor said coldly. How High Heizu, if you can beat Jor, I'll let you go, let's fight. Yi Tian said on the side. How High Heizu was very desperate. If he fought normally, he could kill Ouyang Jor countless times in one move. But now, he has been banned by the 5 elements and sealed his cultivation and strength, and he can only exert his weak physical strength. Even the invincible Dao ancestor can't beat him, let alone a half-step domain ancestor like Ouyang Jor. Can't beat it at all. How High Heizu is also very clear that Yi Tian is absolutely CJFI against the impossibility of releasing the seal on him. He knew he was dead. Boom, the fight has begun. Ouyang Jor did not choose to kill How High Heizu in one move, instead of hitting him again and again. 2 days, 3 days, it took 10 days for Ouyang Jor to behead the ancestor of How High. When How High Heizu died, Ouyang Jor seemed to have a sublimated state of mind, and the whole person's soul had transformed. Perhaps soon, Ouyang Jor's strength will usher in a not weak improvement. Brother Yi, thank you. Ouyang Jor said gratefully. If it wasn't for Yi Tian this time, she would never have the chance to take revenge in the future. Once upon a time, Yi Tian, who was still weak in her eyes, has now grown to a level that is far beyond her reach. She is also fortunate that she met Yi Tian, otherwise she would have perished now. We are friends, I will naturally help you, Yi Tian said with a smile. As soon as How High Heizu died, the Palace Master Longying and the Palace Master Lei Jia soon knew. Because they carried some treasures from the Heavenly Emperor Palace, and some of the treasures belonged to the ancestors of the How High Sea, and they were in the state of being recognized as their masters. But now, this state of being recognized as the master has been lifted. It shows that the ancestors of the How High Sea have fallen, and those treasures have become unowned. The ancestors of the How High Sea have fallen, and they are even more afraid to stay in the Zhanji Tower, and almost use the Zhanji Tower as a refuge. However, if they stay in the Zhanji Tower all the time, points will be consumed over time. Otherwise, if everyone takes refuge in the Zhanji Tower, wouldn't the Zhanji Tower become a refuge? Therefore, if you stay in the battlefield tower for a short time, there is no problem, and you will need to pay for it if you exceed a certain number of years. And, there are many places in the Battle World Tower where there is no way to practice comprehension, and places that can practice comprehension also need to collect points. If the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master do not go out, once the points are used up in the future, they will also be moved out. In desperation, the Dragon Shadow Palace Master and the Thunder Tribulation Palace Master took refuge in some small groups inside the Zhanji Tower, worked for these small unity, earned weak points, and lived slowly like this. No matter how miserable it is stronger than going out to die. Human world. At this moment, Yi Tian is comprehending the first ancestor law. Although he has no way to practice the first ancestor law, he can comprehend many things through the first ancestor law. The space ancestor method seems to be a supreme treasure, and just comprehending a little thing is enough to consume endless years. For example, Yi Tian used the space ancestral technique to assist him in comprehending the space saint technique, which resulted in his incomparably fast cultivation progress in the space saint technique, far exceeding the speed of progress of other saint techniques. Originally, space holy skills should be the most difficult to cultivate, but Yi Tian made the fastest progress, which simply broke people's cognition. After all, this is the first ancestor method that even the ancestors of the supreme domain are difficult to obtain. It is natural to have such an effect. In the blink of an eye, another 3 million years have passed. On this day, Yi Tian had already cultivated the space holy skill virtual / to the peak realm of the late Dacheng stage, and he was only one step away from the holy skill being completed. This rate of progress is incredible for him. Strive to cultivate the virtual / to the perfect state. According to the inheritance and introduction left by the ancestor of the void, once a holy skill is cultivated to the perfect state at the level of the unity, it can make the soul and the holy body transform once. Lightly clothed saintess. The reason why she is so powerful is because the two saints are perfect, so her own soul and saints are much stronger than others. Her saints have gone a little at the level of perfection, while others' saints are much stronger. The body is only barely complete. If I don't know the soul-suppressing holy skills, otherwise I won't be able to hurt her soul at all. Yi Tian muttered. The small transformation of the soul and the small transformation of the holy body will all have great benefits in the future. The stronger the foundation, the more benefits gained from breaking through the domain ancestors, and the greater the increase in strength. Therefore, Yi Tian was not in a hurry to break through to the domain ancestor level, but did his best to improve his holy skills and strive to raise them to the perfect state. Another tens of thousands of years have passed. On this day, Yi Tian strived to achieve a breakthrough, and in one fell swoop, he cultivated the space holy technique virtual / to a perfect state. Boom! The soul begins to undergo a small transformation. The Eucharist also begins to undergo a small transformation. After a long time, the transformation of the soul and the holy body succeeded, and the strength increased by a small amount. However, the completion of the space holy skill has greatly improved Yi Tian, and it has greatly improved his strength. Chapter 1333 The Golden Ancestor Monument. Space holy skills are complete, but other holy skills are not. Yi Tian possesses the space ancestor method, so he can use the ancestor method to comprehend the space holy skills to the perfect state, but there is no way to comprehend other sacred skills to the perfect state. After all, the space ancestor method also has a high auxiliary effect on the space holy skills, and has no effect on other holy skills. Therefore, it is very difficult for Yi Tian to cultivate other holy skills to the perfection realm at the level of unity. Unless he can obtain other ancestor methods, how difficult it is to obtain the first ancestor method, let alone the half-step ancestor level of the normalization realm, even if he becomes the ancestor of the domain, or even becomes the ancestor of the strong domain, invincible domain ancestor, don't even think about getting the first ancestor law. In a place like the Xuanshu Taboo world, there is no great opportunity for him to cultivate a holy skill to the perfect state. We must still rely on the war gate. Yi Tian thought to himself. After all, Zanman is one of the top 10 holy gates. The light girl saint can rely on the saintess to cultivate 2 holy skills to the perfect state. It's just big, the holy gate doesn't have to be willing. In other words, the sacred sect is not sure, otherwise the other major sacred sects would have already raised the sacred skills of those saints to the perfection realm. In the end, I am afraid that I have to rely on myself, but Zanman can definitely provide a little help. So, Yi Tian came to the Zanji Tower and found the ancestor of the Blood Gang territory of Zanman. Ancestor of Blood Gangland, I want to cultivate holy skills to the perfect state, can war sect help? Yi Tian asked. The ancestor of the Blood Gang territory said in surprise, Holy Son of 10,000 Laws, Zanman has been providing help, helping you to cultivate holy skills, those resources can also provide some help. Ancestor of the Blood Gang territory, although those resources can help, but they can't make my holy skills reach the perfect state, you should be clear about this. Yi Tian said helplessly. The ancestors of the Blood Gangland did not speak anymore. How difficult is the perfect state of holy skills, and how can they succeed by relying on those resources? Holy Son of 10,000 Laws, to be honest, I don't even know how to cultivate holy skills to the perfect state. I can convey your request to the deputy sect masters. As for whether war sect will help you, I am not sure. The Blood Gang domain ancestor said solemnly. Thank you for the Blood Gang domain ancestor. Yi Tian said gratefully. Not long after, the Blood Gang domain ancestor did not come, and a clone of the Fire Pattern War ancestor came to Yi Tian. I have seen Lord Fire Mark Zanzu. Yi Tian saw the Fire Mark Zanzu and said respectfully. Holy Son of 10,000 Laws, do you want to cultivate a holy skill to the perfect state and then break through to the domain ancestor level? Fire Mark Zanzu asked. Yes. Yi Tian nodded. Fire Mark Zanzu said with a smile. It seems that you know that the consummation of holy skills can increase the foundation, and it can also make a small transformation of the soul in the holy body. Yes, there are many benefits to the consummation of holy skills, but the difficulty is too great. Others you all know very well, the saints of the holy sect. Except for the saintess in light clothes, none of them have cultivated a sacred technique to the perfect state. They are all descendants of the ancestors of the supreme domain, and they have received the great power of the ancestors of the supreme domain. Cultivation. Although you have also been trained by our war gate, but the training is not strong, this is a fact. You can't be higher than the training of the descendants of the ancestors of the supreme domain. Even those ancestors of the supreme domain can't do anything about it. Let your descendants master the holy skills of perfection at the half-step ancestor level of the unification realm, you should know how difficult it is. I know, but I still want to try it. Yi Tian said. Fire Mark Zanzu was silent for a few seconds, and then said, "You are the first son of our war gate, and our war gate will naturally help you with all our strength. But to be honest, the treasures in the war gate can't help you at present. There are several ways to help you when a holy skill is cultivated to the perfect state, but it will shake the foundation of the war door. Not to mention that I disagree, the war door master cannot agree. Therefore, war door can only provide one opportunity, rely on yourself to find opportunities to achieve breakthroughs. Also ask the Lord Fire Mark Zanzu for advice." 1. Yi Tian's expression moved. He knew that Haowen Zanzu's words meant hope, not hopelessness. As long as there is hope, that is enough. At this time, the fire emblem Zanzu introduced the situation outside the dark sanctuary. There is a dark sanctuary in the center of the dark forbidden area, and there is a forbidden river around the dark sanctuary, and in the endless and vast territory of the dark forbidden area, there are naturally not few forces. In addition, the dark sanctuary still has enemies and many forbidden creatures. Strictly speaking, the forbidden creatures are the natives of the dark forbidden domain, and we are also half natives. Therefore, although the forbidden creatures have friction with us, they are not considered it as the enemy of life and death. There is a very amazing opportunity, but it is controlled by the enemy. Originally, I should not tell you about the enemy, because it involves secrets, but the treasure is under the control of the enemy. If you want to go in, you must touch. To them, they were born in the dark destruction domain, which can be called the concentration of all negative energy in the dark forbidden domain. They accommodate races such as Forbidden Zerg and Devourer race, but the strongest race there is called the Destruction Saint race, which uses the destruction domain, destroy everything as the goal. Once, our dark sanctuary fought with them and finally defeated them. But it also suffered heavy losses. Ask for Flowersa. It turns out to be like this. No wonder I haven't heard of Taboo Zerg and Devourer in the Dark Sanctuary, so they were accepted by the so-called Dark Destruction Domain. Yi Tian was surprised. Is the Dark Destruction Domain very far from us? Yi Tian asked. It's very far, you can't imagine it, but they can teleport long distances, so they can invade us at any time, and if we invade them, we will cross a long distance. Our war gate has a treasured teleportation token, which is it was built by an invincible ancestor, specially prepared for the cultivation of genius. It is also a natural treasure, so the value is too great. According to my calculations, there should be about to open, and there will definitely be a large number of geniuses of the destruction of the saints entering there, including many saints. Because of the fast reproduction rate of the destruction saints, it is much easier for them to give birth to saints than us. If we didn't have an invincible ancestor here, otherwise. Can't beat them. If you want to go in, you need to face the siege of the saints who destroyed the saints and a large number of half-step ancestors, and you will easily fall. But if you don't fall, you will definitely be able to elevate a holy skill to the perfect state, because there is a treasure that even our supreme domain ancestors will be moved, the Golden Ancestor Monument. The Fire Mark War Ancestor provided the ancestral monument, and it also showed the color of desire. Chapter 1334 The Two Who Entered the Holy Gold Realm. Golden Ancestor Monument. Yi Tian was a little puzzled when he heard this name. Soon, the Fire Mark Zanzu explained the Golden Ancestor Monument in detail. To put it simply, the Golden Ancestor Tablet is also a sacred object, but it is not a pure sacred object, but the first ancestor transformed a special sacred tablet, so as to integrate his own ancestor Tao into it, resulting in special changes. Once you comprehend the Golden Ancestor Monument, there is a glimmer of hope to embark on the road of the ancestor. In other words, the Golden Ancestor Monument has the hope that the ancestors of the Supreme Domain will break through. However, the domain ancestors could not enter that place, and only creatures from the realm below the domain ancestors were allowed to enter it. The ancestors couldn't get in either. If they forcibly entered, they could only destroy that treasure land. But the ancestors were not willing to waste such a treasure, and naturally they would not waste it. This place was originally called Golden Ancestor Realm, but was later occupied by the destroyed Saint clan, so it was renamed Shungjin Realm. Although the Saint Gold Realm is under the control of the destroying Saint clan, the Dark Sanctuary has also mastered some tokens, which can be used to send people into the Saint Gold Realm. There are more places for the destroyable saints to enter the Saint Gold Realm, far exceeding the number of places in the Dark Sanctuary. Therefore, under normal circumstances, the 10 major holy gates of the Dark Sanctuary would not dare to send them into the One Realm, otherwise they would be sent to death. Holy Son of 10,000 laws, if it were another holy son, I would definitely not send him in, but you are different, you have mastered a variety of holy skills, and now your eternal and indestructible holy body is complete again, and your strength is stronger than before. Many, as far as I know, the generation of destroying the holy race is afraid that there are no geniuses who can threaten your life. Even if they besiege you, you have the strength to save your life. You can even kill their geniuses. Therefore, if you enter there, you may be able to, with the help of the Golden Ancestor Steel, you can cultivate a holy skill to the perfect state, and you will leave safely. Of course, it is up to you to decide whether to go or not. Lord Fire Mark Zanzu, I am willing to go. Yi Tian nodded and said. He has a general understanding of the so-called Golden Ancestor Monument, which should be a weakening of the Ancestor Law. For the ancestors of the Supreme Domain, it is only a chance to enter the Ancestor. But for him, the effect should not be much different with the help of the Golden Ancestral Monument and the Ancestral Method. After all, for him, the Golden Ancestor Monument and the Ancestral Method are too profound and mysterious, and they can both assist in comprehending holy skills, and they are both useful now. This is a teleportation token to enter the Holy Gold Realm. Anywhere in the Dark Forbidden area, you can urge it to enter the Holy Gold Realm. Once you leave, it will be taken away by the Holy Gold Realm, but you will return to the original so you don't have to worry about not coming back. The Fire Mark Zanzu handed the token to Yi Tian and explained. Thank you, Lord Fire Mark Zanzu. Yi Tian said gratefully. Remember, be careful, and come back alive. Fire Pattern Battle Ancestors. Yi Tian nodded softly. After leaving the Zanji Tower, Yi Tian returned to the human realm and began to practice hard. Because it is not yet the day when the Holy Gold Realm is opened, even if the token is opened, there is no way to enter the Holy Gold Realm. Therefore, he has to wait some days. In the blink of an eye, millions of years have passed. This day, Yi Tian found that the token of the Holy Gold Realm began to flicker, which represented the opening of the Holy Gold Realm. Copy the body. Yi Tian duplicated his own body, and a duplicate body appeared. That's right, he didn't intend to go to the body at all, so he let the copy body go. In this case, even if he fell, it would not be a big loss for him. Yi Tian brought some secret treasures, even the Forbidden Blade, to prevent accidents. After all, he also wants to get some good things in the Holy Gold Realm, and also wants to comprehend the holy skills to the perfect state, so naturally he must maintain a stronger combat power. If you come out alive, you will make a lot of money. If it falls, the big deal will be the loss of a sacred object. Anyway, it is the sacred object bestowed by the War Gate, and he is not distressed. Yi Tian's treasures and sacred objects can also be used by copying the body. After all, they are all the same body, even the soul, so naturally there is no difference. Yi Tian did not say hello to anyone because he copied his body to go to the Holy Golden Realm. Open token. The Saint Golden Realm token emitted a ray of light that enveloped Yi Tian's duplicate body, and instantly disappeared through the void. Send. This transmission took a lot of time, until a long time later, maybe a few days, maybe a few months. In the end, Yi Tian arrived at the Saint Gold Realm. In an area between the Dark Sanctuary and the Dark Destruction Domain, there is a treasure land called the Holy Golden Realm. On this day, a large number of geniuses of the Destruction Saint Ancestor and other geniuses affiliated to the Destruction Saint clan came to the Saint Gold Realm under the escort of the Supreme Domain Ancestors. Whoa whoa whoa, the geniuses of the Dark Destruction Domain entered the Holy Gold Realm. Unexpected, 2 rays of light crossed the void and entered the Holy Gold Realm, even the ancestors of the Supreme Domain could not stop it. HMPH, there are 2 geniuses from the Dark Sanctuary who have entered the Holy Golden Realm. They are so bold. Listen, after entering the Holy Golden Realm, find the 2 geniuses from the Dark Sanctuary and kill them. The ancestors of the Supreme Domain ordered. Yes. The geniuses of the Dark Destruction Domain exuded a destructive aura and said cruelly. This is the Holy Golden Realm. Yi Tian appeared on the ground of the Saint Gold Realm, and looked around, full of curiosity about everything here. First of all, the rules here are very powerful, far beyond the outside world. Secondly, there are many treasures here. With just a swipe of his divine sense, he saw a large number of forbidden treasures with 5.8 and a few forbidden treasures. These treasures seem to be weeds here, showing how many treasures there are. Yi Tian did not despise these treasures and collected them one by one. After all, the human family has a great business, and sending these treasures to the human treasure house is enough to cultivate a large number of human geniuses, so why waste them? Soon, Yi Tian sensed the aura of a living creature. The other party looked very strange. Although it was a humanoid, all the eyes on his body were filled with a destructive aura. It is the 100-eyed clan of the Dark Destruction Domain, one of the 3,000 evil clans under the Destruction Holy Pearl. Yi Tian recognized it at a glance. After all, he did his homework before he came, and learned a little about the Dark Destruction Domain from Zanman. Although he didn't know much, he knew a lot about each race. Among them, this 100-eyed clan is included. Chapter 1335 The Holy Medicine Garden. 100-eyed Genius. 1 inch. Yi Tian muttered. He was going to capture the genius of the 100-eyed clan and inquire about the secret. After all, Zanman has not sent anyone into the Saint Gold Realm for a long time, and the information about this place still stays in the past information, so that kind of information is not applicable to the present. After all, the Holy Golden Realm is a treasure land, and many treasures here will be taken away, and other treasures will also be born. Therefore, it is not clear how many opportunities there are now here. Su Fu of the 100 Eyes clan is preparing to go to a place with a chance. This place was told to him by the elders of his clan. Once he enters there, his strength will be improved, and he will not waste this opportunity. Unexpected, a figure appeared in front of him. You are, A. Just as he was about to say who you were, he suddenly sensed the other person's aura, which was completely different from the aura of the creatures in the Dark Destruction Domain. Cultivator. He suddenly woke up. In the Dark Destruction Domain, the situation of the practitioners is not concealed, and many creatures know about the practitioners in the Dark Sanctuary. In addition, before entering this time, several supreme ancestors of the Dark Destruction Domain told some practitioners to sneak into the Holy Gold Realm, asking them to find the practitioners and kill them. Apparently, he met a practitioner. But he doesn't want to meet him. He is not stupid, and he is naturally very clear that the genius who dares to sneak into the Holy Gold Realm in the Dark Sanctuary must be very enchanting. If he met such a genius, he would surely die. Escape. He didn't have the slightest desire to fight, he just wanted to run away. 5 Elements Band. As soon as this holy skill is used, Chu Su no longer has any possibility of escaping. In an instant, Chu Xuan was captured, and his cultivation base was also sealed. He didn't ask for help from other creatures, so the 100-eyed clan only entered a few clansmen. None of them were very strong, and they didn't even have a second-level limiter. How could they compete against Yi Tian? As for people from other races, they will not care about him, and he has no contact information. So, he can only wait to die. Next, Yi Tian used the soul holy skill of Junction to constantly destroy Su Su's soul, thus interrogating some information. At first, Yu Su was reluctant to say anything, but in the end he did. From Chu Su's mouth, Yi Tian learned a lot of information, and then crushed Chuxi's soul, trying to absorb some memories. At the level of the perfection of the Oneness Realm, it is very difficult to absorb the memory. Unless it is a weaker Oneness Realm, Yi Tian can easily absorb the memory. For example, Dragon Shadow Palace Lord's kind of reunification. But Yin Zui is also a limiter, and his soul is very powerful. After all, he is also one of the geniuses, otherwise he would not have the chance to enter the Holy Gold Realm. More importantly, almost all geniuses of this type have practiced the secret technique to protect their own memory, and it is difficult for them to absorb their memories. In the end, Yi Tian only absorbed a few broken memories, among which there were a few memories that belonged to the Holy Gold Realm. Compared with the content of the interrogation, he confirmed that the other party did not lie. There are more than a dozen saints who have entered the Holy Gold World in the destruction of the saints. Yi Tian was surprised. This is information from Susuko, and it is likely true. More than a dozen saints, this is even more than the saints of the Dark Sanctuary. The Fire Mark War ancestor is right, it is indeed easier for the saints of the Dark Destruction Domain to be born. Yi Tian thought to himself. Ordinary saints, he doesn't take it seriously. What he cares about is the opportunity of the Holy Gold Realm, and this is the purpose of his coming to the Holy Gold Realm. From the information that the 100-eyed clan learned, the first opportunity for the Holy Golden Realm is the monument of the first ancestor of gold. But if you want to comprehend the monument of the first ancestor of gold, you must pass 3 levels, otherwise there is no way to comprehend it. There are still 10 great opportunities in the Golden Realm, most of which are opportunities for cultivators, and are of little help in destroying the Holy Clan and the 3,000 evil clans. Yi Tian muttered. But there is no way, the Dark Destruction Domain occupies this place, and it is difficult for the geniuses of the Dark Sanctuary to enter here, and must rely on this special token. Even if the opportunity here is of little help to the Dark Destruction Domain, they can just waste the opportunity. In addition to the Golden Ancestor Monument, the biggest opportunity in the Holy Golden Realm is the Tianju Pagoda. The Tianju Pagoda can release a special energy, using a rare holy object as the source of energy. If you enter the Tianju Pagoda to practice, you can easily cultivate the holy body to the perfect state. Of course, if you want to enter the Tianju Tower, you still need to pass the level. The Holy Golden Realm was originally created by my invincible ancestor to cultivate geniuses, so it has checked any useful opportunities. Unfortunately, such a chance was useless to Yi Tian. Yi Tian came to copy the body. Even if he could cultivate, the effect of the cultivation could not be blessed on the body, so copying the body to cultivate the holy body was useless. But cultivating holy skills is different. If you copy the body to cultivate the holy skills to the perfect state, and then recultivate the main body, you can easily cultivate the sacred skills to the perfect state. Apart from the Golden Ancestor Monument, the opportunities that are truly useful to Yi Tian are those that can be taken away. Such as the Holy Medicine Garden. This place is a real treasure, a forbidden treasure. This kind of improvement is called semi-sacred medicine. There are holy medicines on top of non-sacred medicines, and Ancestors 543 medicines and ancestor medicines on top of holy medicines. Of course, ancestral medicines are almost impossible to obtain, semi-holy medicines are more common, and there are some holy medicines, and ancestral medicines depend on luck. The birth of each ancestral medicine requires a certain amount of luck. At the beginning of the Holy Golden Realm, the first treasure that everyone went to must be the Holy Medicine Garden. Because the chance here can be taken away, if it doesn't come, all the treasures will be taken away, and it will be completely lost. But the opportunities in other places can't be taken away, and if you go later, it won't matter. Want to go to the Holy Medicine Garden? Yi Tian thought. If it is the Holy Medicine Garden, he is afraid that he needs to fight with a large number of geniuses in the Dark Destruction Domain, otherwise he will not be able to grab many holy medicines. Moreover, he is a little late now, and there is probably already a fight there. Go, Yi Tian decided. Semi-holy medicine is nothing more than the value of the holy medicine is beyond the forbidden treasure. Although it is not as good as the holy relic, the holy medicine is specially used to improve the cultivation base, and the value of the ancestral medicine is higher. I am afraid it is comparable to the lower holy relic. Once you grab some, you'll make a lot of money. Wow! Yi Tian quickly shuttled towards the Holy Medicine Garden, striving to snatch some more holy medicines. If it's really too late, then kill some geniuses in the Dark Destruction Domain and take the holy medicine from them. Chapter 1336 Ancestral Medicine was born. Soon, Yi Tian came to the Holy Medicine Garden. The Holy Medicine Garden is very large and covers a large area. This area is quite special, which is why a large number of semi-sacred medicines and holy medicines have been produced. And the breeding of each semi-holy medicine and holy medicine is a field of its own, because they are the manifestation of the rules and the manifestation of the forbidden way. Therefore, it is necessary to enter the realm to obtain the semi-holy medicine or holy medicine. At this moment, the geniuses of the One Realm in the Dark Destruction Domain are fighting to snatch the semi-sacred medicine and the holy medicine. Yi Tian used the holy gift of invisibility and sneaked in. As long as he doesn't do anything, these people can't spy on his existence. Soon, Yi Tian came to a birthplace of holy medicine. At this time, the two geniuses from the Dark Destruction Domain of the Unification Realm rushed into the holy medicine field, fighting while approaching the holy medicine. Unexpected, Yi Tian appeared and took away this holy medicine. The two geniuses of the One Realm were very angry. They fought each other, causing the speed to slow down, but others took away the holy medicine, and they took the holy medicine secretly. This is simply too outrageous. At this moment, a golden thread slashed. Puff! The two geniuses of the Unity Realm were instantly beheaded. And Yi Tian came to the place where they fell, collected their corpses, and then checked the treasures on them through their internal space. So poor. Yi Tian frowned. Before, he had learned from the War Gate that the Dark Destruction Domain was very barren, because it was full of destructive energy. Although it was helpful for them to practice, it was difficult to generate some resources. The Destruction Saint clan is a clan born from destruction, with the foundation of destroying everything. Even if they occupy a realm, they will destroy it, and use a realm to improve their own cultivation strength, which is to destroy the saints. Therefore, they only invaded the territory of the Dark Sanctuary and plundered resources, but did not have the habit of cultivating resources at all. If the resources of the Destruction Ancestor are deficient to a certain extent, I am afraid that the Dark Sanctuary will be attacked. Regardless of whether they can win or not, they will definitely be able to take away some resources, and also eliminate some weak ones, reducing the burden of the Dark Destruction Domain. This is why the Dark Destruction Domain has been fighting with the Dark Sanctuary, but many people don't know it. It is estimated that the resources of these two geniuses at the level of unity have been consumed by them, and there are some inheritances or weapons, but they are of little use to ETN, but they are still valuable treasures. These valuable treasures are those semi-holy medicines and holy medicines. They have not been picked for a while, so they haven't had time to refine them, so ETN is naturally cheaper. Next, ETN plundered the semi-sacred medicine and the holy medicine, but did not see the ancestral medicine. Ancestral medicine is very rare, and its value is comparable to that of a low-level sacred object. Even the geniuses who destroy the saints will fight desperately. After all, how can the geniuses of the homeless realm be qualified to obtain such treasures as ancestral medicine? For example, Yi Tian, if he hadn't won the First Holy War, he wouldn't have been given holy relics. And the Dark Sanctuary is rich in resources, so it is willing to take out the holy relic as a reward. The Dark Destruction Domain is different. They are not willing to give such rewards to geniuses. If they fall, they will lose money. Moreover, the powerhouses in the Dark Destruction Domain are relatively selfish. For example, when entering the Saint Gold Realm this time, except for the resources that have been refined, all other resources must be turned in. This is the rule. It's best to find a few ancestral medicines, then after returning, you can make UAA and the others' strength increase quickly. Yi Tian secretly said. With the passage of time, Yi Tian seized a large amount of semi-holy medicine and a small amount of holy medicine, and also killed many geniuses in the Darkness Destruction Domain. In the beginning, the geniuses of the Dark Destruction Domain did not realize that the geniuses of the Dark Sanctuary were slaughtering them. But as more and more geniuses in the Dark Destruction Domain fell, something was wrong with them. Sometime, Yi Tian was going to kill a genius of the Saint clan with a single blow, but was unable to kill the opponent with a single blow, because the opponent possessed a very powerful life-saving object and died once. Dark Sanctuary Genius. Before the genius who destroyed the Saint race was dying, he spread the news. Puff. Under the second blow, the genius of the Holy Orb of Destruction completely fell, but the news had already spread. Trouble, Yi Tian muttered. As predicted, a large number of geniuses in the Dark Destruction Domain began to search for Yi Tian's traces in groups, trying to surround and kill him. Because once he is killed, the rewards of those supreme ancestors will be quite a lot. However, ordinary geniuses in the One Realm can't find Yi Tian at all. Even if the stealth talent at the Holy Endowment level is far inferior to holy skills, it is not something that ordinary people can spy on. But if there is a genius who has mastered the Perfection Domain technique to spy on the secret technique of stealth, then he can still be traced. Of course, many races in the Dark Destruction Domain didn't practice much, relying entirely on bloodline talent and secret technique ability. It was difficult to discover Yi Tian's existence. Destroying the saints, but also cultivating one, is actually similar to a cultivator, except that the bloodline is special, and destroying everything is the source of growth. Therefore, it is very likely that the geniuses who destroyed the holy race will find his trace. In addition, some domain devices, if they can break stealth, can also find him. Therefore, Yi cut the bottom into stealth, hiding from the darkness and destroying the genius to find it. As expected, Yi Tian was discovered soon. Immediately, dozens of geniuses from the Dark Destruction Domain came besieged. Courting death. Yi Tian used his holy skills to easily kill this group of geniuses, including 3 geniuses at the second level limiter level. Next, the geniuses of the Dark Destruction Domain surrounded Yi Tian. All died in Yi Tian's hands, and sent a large amount of semi-sacred medicine and holy medicine. As more and more geniuses died, many geniuses in the Dark Destruction Domain were discouraged and did not dare to look for Yi Tian again, so there were only a few saints who wanted to kill Yi Tian. In stealth state, Yi Tian kept moving. Suddenly, he sensed that a group of Unity Realm was moving in a certain direction, and he seemed to be in a hurry. Out of curiosity, Yi Tian followed the past. Soon, they reached their destination. At this time, Yi Tian knew what these people's goals were, not him, but the ancestral medicine. An ancestral medicine was born. Chapter 1337 Kill the Sun and Get the Ancestral Medicine. Ancestral Medicine. 1. Yi Tian was also moved. This is a real treasure, comparable to ordinary sacred objects, and it is of great help to the improvement of strength. For many geniuses, ancestral medicines are more precious than sacred objects. After all, some sacred objects are useless to oneself, but ancestral medicine is useful to everyone, and it is a scarce resource. For example, in the Dark Sanctuary, there are not many ancestral medicines, at least they will not be provided to the Unity Realm. Whoa whoa whoa, a genius from the Dark Destruction domain rushed into the place where the ancestral medicine was, and fought for the ancestral medicine. The domain formed by the ancestor medicine is very restrictive, and there is no way to travel through the space, so everyone must fly in honestly, and the area covered by the domain is also very large, and it takes a little time to get close to the ancestor medicine. Moreover, the ancestral medicine is rooted here, and it will take some time to remove the ancestral medicine. If the strength is not good, even if the first person enters the field of ancestor medicine, there is no way to take the ancestor medicine. At this moment, many geniuses have entered the field of ancestor medicine. The ancestral medicine is my destroying holy sun, whoever grabs it from me is courting death. The son of destruction was wearing a black battle armor, and punched one evil genius after another with one punch. These evil geniuses are supposed to belong to the destruction saints, but they actually entered here, who cares about whose identity? As the genius of destroying the Saint clan, the Saint son of annihilation even killed his own clansmen, not to mention the people of these evil races. Some geniuses from the evil race saw the son of annihilation, and they were all shy, not daring to snatch the ancestral medicine. Even those geniuses who were very close to the ancestral medicine, when they saw the coming of the son of darkness, immediately turned around and ran away, daring not to covet this ancestral medicine. If facing other evil geniuses or destroying saint race geniuses, there is no hope of escaping if they are basically defeated. But in the face of the son of desolation, they couldn't escape. Although the holy son of darkness is not a saint, but it is one of the saints who can be called an invincible existence. The strength is equivalent to the holy son of Yongyuan in the Dark Sanctuary, and his status in the Dark Destruction realm is very high. As long as it is not a saint, everyone fears to destroy the Son of God. Therefore, even if they snatch the ancestor medicine, they can't survive, so it is better to give up the ancestor medicine and leave, which can at least save their lives. Wow, the son of darkness came to the ancestral medicine and immediately picked this ancestral medicine. This time, few saints came here. After all, those saints were all of high status and fathers of the supreme ancestral level. They didn't worry about resources, so they were not very interested in ancestor medicines, let alone these holy medicines, semi-holy medicine. Thus, most of the anointed went elsewhere, and only a few anointed were here. Hurry up and pick it away, even if those saints rush over, it will be too late. Once this ancestral medicine falls into my hands, they will not kill me, right? Destroying the Son of God thought. After all, he is not an ordinary genius, and he has a very high status in the clan. The saint can kill ordinary geniuses, but if he kills him, it is not easy to explain it when he goes back. Unless it is a place with no one, they dare to kill themselves. But here, there are not only the members of the holy clan they destroyed, but also the geniuses of the 3000 evil clan, who would dare to kill him openly. No one dares to kill me, this ancestral medicine must be mine. Demise Saint Sun thought in his heart. Just when he was picking the ancestral medicine, he suddenly sensed a crisis. Dangerous. The son of desolation had this idea. Wow, the defensive domain device on his body was turned on, and a life-saving artifact was also turned on instantly. At the same time, he cast a defensive domain technique. As destroying saints, it is difficult to create domain techniques. After all, they are not practitioners and do not need to comprehend anything, but destroying saints still has a lot of domain techniques inheritance. They are also not afraid of the fit between domain techniques and their own forbidden ways, because their cultivation base does not need to rely on forbidden ways at all. They can grow by relying on blood, and they can grow up as long as they continue to destroy, swallow and kill. If they slaughtered a realm, it would be better than countless years of hard work. Of course, swallowing holy medicine and ancestral medicine can also greatly improve the cultivation base. The Son of Darkness has practiced CJFI many domain techniques, and there are no less than 5 defensive domain techniques. Anyway, it has no effect on himself. Moreover, his defensive secret skills are also very high, and one of the defensive domain skills has reached the perfect state. However, no matter how powerful he is far from being an enemy's opponent. Because it was none other than Yi Tian who shot him. Golden thread holy skill, slash. A golden thread was torn and slashed towards the Son of Desolation. Without the protection of the domain device and secret treasure, the Son of Darkness would have been instantly killed. But relying on the domain device and the secret treasure, he blocked the blow, but was severely injured. The consecrator of the Dark Sanctuary. The Son of Darkness recognized it. The opponent is using a holy skill, and the aura is different from the genius of the Dark Destruction domain. This is undoubtedly the holy endowment of the Dark Holy Domain. Escape. Saint Sun Anmi was stunned. Even if it was an ancestral medicine not far away, he didn't want it anymore. Compared with life, what is the mere ancestral medicine? And at this time, Yi Tian also knew that he had to use all his strength to kill the Son of God easily. This is not the Zhanji Tower. At the Zhanji Tower, he could easily kill a saint like Yongyuan, but at that time they didn't have secret treasures, domain tools, or sacred objects to protect themselves. If there were, it would be hard to kill them. The Eternal Eucharist. Open. Yu Tian, AA open. Golden silk, slash. Under such a nearly full-strength burst, Yi Tian smashed it with one blow. The power of the golden thread has penetrated through the Desolation Saint Sun's defensive domain device and secret treasure, and only a very small part of the power penetrates into his body, but this small part of the energy is still beyond the demise Saint Sun's ability to compete. Puff. The body of the desolate sun was annihilated, and all the vitality and soul dissipated. The Son of Desolation is dead. Immediately, Yi Tian took away the corpse of the Son of God, and then took away the ancestral medicine. During this process, none of the geniuses who destroyed the Holy Clan and the evil clan around dared to approach Yi Tian. Even Saint Sun Anmi was killed. How could they dare to approach, courting death? After taking the ancestral medicine, Yi Tian quickly left here. At this time, the geniuses of the Destruction Saint clan and the evil clan began to discuss enthusiastically. Is this the genius from the Dark Sanctuary? This is too scary. Oh my God, even the Holy Son of Dark Destruction was quickly beheaded by the opponent. It is not an exaggeration to say that he was killed in an instant. Can our saints in the Dark Destruction domain do it? How can we know the strength of the saints, but we must be able to do it. Fortunately this person didn't kill us, otherwise we would be dead too. How dare he kill us? In that case, it will be a waste of time, and he probably doesn't want to be surrounded by saints. Just when the geniuses of the evil race were talking about each other, three figures came together. Seeing these three people, many geniuses of the evil race were respectful, for fear of angering these three people and causing them to be killed. They are none other than the three saints who destroyed the saints. Chapter 1338. The harvest is quite large. Go to the Ancestor Holy Mountain. Holy Endowment, Poison Wind Holy Sun. Divine Endowment, Shadow Moon Sun. The Holy Endowment, the Boneless Holy Sun. These three holy suns have a huge reputation in the Dark Destruction domain, even beheading many domain ancestors, and also destroying a small domain. They are almost the embodiment of death, the king of destruction. Everyone is afraid of these three holy suns. If they anger them, they will die, no doubt. What about the ancestor medicine? Seeing that the ancestral medicine field was slowly dissipating, Dufeng Shengji knew that the ancestral medicine had been taken away, so he asked. It was taken away by a saint in the Dark Sanctuary, and the Son of Destruction was also killed by that person. An evil genius said quickly. That guy in the dark was killed. The three holy sons were a little surprised. Although they can't see that guy, but his talent is indeed very good, although not as good as their saints. But they are also very clear that they are only relying on holy talents and holy skills. If Duan Mie can be promoted to the level of the ancestors of the Supreme Domain in the future, it will not be weaker than them. But now, Saint Sun Annihilation was actually killed by an outsider. This has to be said to be a loss to the Dark Destruction domain. Of course, they didn't care very much, but they really wanted to kill the foreign saint. It's not easy for a saint of the Dark Sanctuary to quickly kill an Mie. The three of us are not necessarily opponents. We must join forces to deal with him. Poison Wind Saint Sun said. The Shadow Moon Sun and the Boneless Sun nodded. They didn't dare to care. After all, they also knew from the mouths of the geniuses of the evil race and the genius of the destruction of the saints, that the genius of the Dark Sanctuary killed the Saint Son of Darkness with 2 moves. 2 strokes to kill the Son of Darkness. The 3 of them could bear that they couldn't do it. Unless the Son of Darkness does not wear a defensive domain device and a secret treasure, there is no way to kill the Son of Darkness with 2 strokes. This is enough to prove that the holy man is very strong. They judge that the holy body of the holy man is very powerful, and they have also cultivated a powerful offensive holy technique to the perfect state, which is why they have such strength. In the face of such saints, if they encounter them alone, they can't beat them at all. Even if they can use the sacred artifact defense to save their lives, they can't beat the opponent. If the three of them work together and use the sacred relic, they may be expected to defeat the opponent or even kill the opponent. However, they still underestimated Yi Tian's strength. Yi Tian didn't plan to kill one or two saints, and it was difficult to kill a saint when the strength gap was not too exaggerated. Don't look at the fact that he defeated the light-clothed saint in the Zhangji Tower. If he fought with ordinary saints, he could easily defeat them, but that was in the Zhangji Tower. In the battlefield tower, once the fleshly body is destroyed to a certain extent, it cannot be healed again, so it is judged to be a failure. But in the outside world, the life-saving ability of the saints is very powerful. How can they be killed so easily? And they also have domain devices, secret treasures and even holy relics. It is even more difficult to kill them. Once Yi Tian can't kill a holy person in a short time, he will face the siege against the holy person. Once many saints urge sacred objects, he may not be able to contend, unless he also uses sacred objects such as the forbidden Yuan blade. But in that case, this replica body may not be able to last long. So, that's not worth it. The saints are not in a hurry to kill. It is good to collect some holy medicines or even ancestor medicines first, and kill some ordinary geniuses. With the passage of time, Yi Tian collected a lot of holy medicines, killed a lot of geniuses of the destruction of the holy clan and evil clan, and was found by those holy gifted people many times, but his speed was much faster than these holy gifted people. Easy, get rid of them, and do not fight with them. In the blink of an eye, half a month has passed. Almost all the holy medicines bred in the treasure land of the Holy Medicine Garden have been picked up, and many geniuses of the Dark Destruction domain have left one by one to go to other places. Of course, there is another reason. This place is too threatening. Once encountering Yi Tian, there is no way to survive. And the saints have been unable to catch Yi Tian, which made them even more afraid, so they left early. 3 ancestral medicines, 100,000 holy medicines, and 1.5 million holy medicines. This time the harvest is very good. Yi Tian sorted out the harvest and muttered. He is not going to stay here anymore, and is going to go to the Golden Ancestor Monument. That's where his real destination is. Ask for flowers. Arrive. Yi Tian came to the first ancestor holy mountain where the Golden Ancestor Monument was located. The Golden Ancestor Monument is on the Ancestor Holy Mountain, but if you want to enter the Ancestor Holy Mountain, you must pass a checkpoint. The level is divided into 3 levels. The first level is strength. If the strength is not good, then you are not qualified to go through the second and third levels, and you will lose your qualifications directly. The second level is potential. If the potential is low, there is no need to participate in the third level assessment. The third level is comprehension. If it is low, it will also be eliminated. Because of these 3 levels, the geniuses of the Dark Destruction domain came here, and at most only 1,000th of the geniuses can pass the 3 levels, thus comprehending the Golden Ancestor Monument. After all, the Dark Destruction domain doesn't look at comprehension very much, and the whole is still dominated by blood races. For example, destroying the Holy Clan, Yuling above the 3,000 Evil Clan. Anyone who destroys the 3,000 Evil Clan, the only genius is compared with destroying the Holy Clan. The arrival of Yi Tian naturally attracted the attention of the geniuses in the Dark Destruction domain. But before they could besiege Yi Tian, Yi Tian entered the ancestral sacred mountain and participated in the 3 tests. The Ancestor Holy Mountain. As soon as Yi Tian stepped into this place, he came to avoid. Soon, a force condensed into a black figure, and the breath was very powerful. From the perspective of breath, it should belong to the perfect powerhouse of the unification realm, but the breath is extremely pure and powerful, and the strength is afraid that it has the combat power of the ultra-limited person in the early stage of the first stage. That is to say, if you don't reach the strength of the first level limiter, no matter how good your talent is and how high your potential is, don't even think about comprehending the Golden Ancestor Monument. Wow! The black figure attacked Yi Tian. Die! With a spear in hand, Yi Tian instantly killed the black figure and passed the first level. Then, he came to the second level. How is potential tested? I saw a statue appear in front of Yi Tian, and an invisible wave glanced at Yi Tian. Soon, the information passed through. Obviously, the ancestral sacred mountain has its own way to test its potential, and Yi Tian can't judge what it is. In short, he came to the third level. Chapter 1339 Golden Thread Holy Skill, Perfect. The Ancestor Holy Mountain, the Third Pass. Yi Tian came to avoid. There was an ancient scroll, and the scroll was a door of ultimate move. Comprehend the ultimate move. In 10,000 years, if you practice one ultimate move, you can pass the third level. A voice sounded. It is definitely not easy to realize the ultimate move within 10,000 years. Yi Tian took a look and found that these ultimate moves are all inclined to the way of gold. After all, everyone is here to learn about the ancestors of gold, and people naturally want to assess the understanding of the way of gold, so they set up these gold-type ultimate moves as a level assessment. The so-called ultimate move is one move, only one move to attack, there is no spare power after one move, and it is not a complete domain technique. But the power of the ultimate move is even higher than that of ordinary domain techniques, and it is indeed difficult to cultivate an ultimate move in 10,000 years. Yi Tian is very clear that the passage of time here is different, so after cultivating herein, 5 or 60, 10,000 years will not pass for the outside world. Just choose this ultimate move, breaking gold. Yi Tian decided. Afterwards, he began to comprehend the breaking gold ultimate move, and with his comprehension, he completely practiced the ultimate skill breaking gold in just over 100 years. When Yi Tian showed his broken gold, the third pass was over. After passing all 3 levels, Yi Tian came to the Ancestor Holy Mountain and came to the Golden Ancestor Monument. At this time, there are already a dozen geniuses of the Dark Destruction domain here. When they saw Yi Tian, they were extremely angry. Dark Sanctuary Guy. One after another murderous intent enveloped Yi Tian, but these people did not start. Because this is the Ancestor Holy Mountain, it is not allowed to do it. If anyone dares to do it, they will be expelled immediately, thus losing the opportunity to enlighten this time. They were able to come in with great difficulty, and the next time the Holy Golden Realm opens, they have already broken through to the ancestors of the domain, and this place has nothing to do with them. Therefore, they cannot ruin their chances. The Sanctuary of the Dark Sanctuary, when you leave the Ancestor Holy Mountain, you will be dead. A holy man opened his mouth and said. By duplicating his talent, Yi Tian knew who this guy was, the saint who destroyed the Holy Clan, the Black-Eyed Holy Sun. Moreover, this guy actually has 2 holy gifts on his body, one of the pupil art type, Holy Eye, and one of the ice-based holy gifts, Frozen. The 2 saints made him stronger than the average saints, perhaps not weaker than the light-clothed saintess. Of course, the premise is that he already has 2 perfection-level holy skills, otherwise he will still be unable to beat the light-clothed saintess. The Golden Ancestor Monument is the most helpful to those who have practiced the sacred skills of the gold system, but other people can also use the Golden Ancestor Monument to comprehend the forbidden way or spy on the path of the ancestor, which has unimaginable benefits for future practice. It is even of great benefit for them to comprehend the gold domain art. They can easily cultivate a gold domain art to the perfect state, and even hit the limit level. In the realm of reunification, very few people can cultivate the gold domain technique to the limit level. For example, Yi Tian has never encountered it before, but if there is a realm of unity to cultivate a domain technique to the limit level, his strength will also increase a lot. This is also why these geniuses in the Dark Destruction domain want to enter the Golden Ancestor Monument. Although they do not know the Gold Element Holy technique, they can practice the Gold Element domain technique. Therefore, it is also an unimaginable opportunity for them to be able to comprehend the Golden Ancestor stele. The time for comprehending the Golden Ancestor Monument is limited, and each person's comprehension time depends on how long they can persist. The longer the time of comprehension, the greater the pressure to bear. If you can't persevere any longer, you will be moved out by the Ancestor Holy Mountain. Therefore, these geniuses of the Dark Destruction domain ignored Yi Tian and continued to comprehend the Golden Ancestor Monument. Yi Tian also found a good position, sat cross-legged, closed his eyes and began to comprehend. Boom! The turbulence of the Golden Ancestor Monument rippled, and in Yi Tian's perception, it seemed to have turned into an ocean of gold. He was in the Sea of Gold, and the Sea of Gold was formed by the power of the first ancestor of gold. It showed some characteristics of the road of the first ancestor, although it was far inferior to the method of the first ancestor of gold. But to Yi Tian, it is still incomparably profound and difficult to comprehend. Yi Tian constantly comprehends the Golden Ancestor stele, and relies on the Golden Ancestor stele to comprehend the Golden Thread Saint technique. If you can comprehend the Golden Thread Holy technique to the perfect state, it is undoubtedly the best result. Time passed slowly, and in the past few years, one person came to the Ancestor Holy Mountain, which caught Yi Tian's attention. Light clothes saint. Yi Tian was very surprised. The holy maiden in light clothes also saw Yi Tian, and was immediately surprised. She also did not expect Yi Tian to come to the Holy Gold Realm. She naturally has a place she wants to go when she comes to the Holy Gold Realm, and the Golden Ancestor Monument is just one of the treasures that she wants to come to. The two did not chat, and the lightly clothed saint sat down casually, and also began to comprehend the Golden Ancestor Monument. Years passed. In the blink of an eye, 1,000,000 years have passed. At this time, some geniuses in the dark destruction domain couldn't hold on any longer and were moved out one by one. And Yi Tian and the light-clothed saintess are still insisting. In fact, Yi Tian was also under a lot of pressure, as if a boundless ocean of gold was acting on him, suppressing him, but he was still able to endure it. It has to be said that the effect of the Golden Ancestor Steel assisting in comprehending holy skills is actually better than that of the ancestral method. Because the first ancestor method is too advanced, he does not understand it even more, and the Golden Ancestor Monument is a little easier to understand, and the Golden Ancestor Monument has been transformed by the first ancestor. Therefore, it is naturally faster to comprehend holy skills with the help of the Golden Ancestor Tablet. And just like that, millions of years passed. At that time, there were not many people who were enlightened in it. From then on, except for Zhu, the only geniuses who came in at the beginning were these Fu givers. 5.8. The strength of the saints is strong, so they can endure for a long time. And after millions of years of ascetic cultivation, Yi Tian has made great progress. At this moment, his golden thread holy skill has reached the perfect state, and he still wants to continue to comprehend for a while, but unfortunately the progress is very slow. In desperation, Yi Tian gave up continuing to practice the golden thread saint technique, but he didn't want to waste time, so he created a domain technique. And the domain technique he created is the gold domain technique, the virtual gold slashing technique, which has a very powerful attack effect. Because it is a self-created domain technique, coupled with the Golden Ancestor Tablet as an auxiliary comprehension, his virtual gold slashing technique has improved rapidly. In just hundreds of thousands of years, this virtual gold slashing technique has been raised to the extreme level. Chapter 1340 Killing the Saints, Piercing the Sky. The lightly clothed saint has left. Yi Tian found out that the holy maiden in light clothes had disappeared, either by being moved away by the ancestor holy mountain, or by leaving on his own initiative. I should leave too. Anyway, I won't be able to hold on for too long. If I continue to stay here for enlightenment, I won't gain much. Yi Tian thought to himself. Immediately, he flew out of the ancestor holy mountain. It is difficult to enter the ancestral sacred mountain, but it is very easy to fly out of the ancestral sacred mountain without any obstacles. In an instant, Yi Tian came outside the ancestor holy mountain. At this time, he sensed the battle in the distance. 8 saints are besieging the light-clothed saint. At this time, the light-clothed saintess was completely at a disadvantage. Among them, the black-eyed holy sun was also in the siege, bringing enormous pressure to the light-clothed holy girl. After all, the black-eyed holy sun also has 2 holy talents, and his strength is definitely not weaker than that of the light-clothed holy girl. In addition to the other 7 saints, all of them have sacred objects, and their strength is naturally not weak. In the face of these 8 saints, the light-clothed saintess couldn't beat 29 at all. However, the light-clothed saint also has sacred objects, which are a cyan armor and a sword. These 2 sacred objects make her very powerful, and the use of sacred objects to fight consumes a lot of time. If it takes a long time, when the power is exhausted, there is no doubt that he will die. But if you don't use the holy relic to fight, it will be even more dangerous. The blessing of the sacred object on strength is too great, otherwise, the value of the sacred object will not be so high. Yi Tian came out of the ancestor holy mountain, and naturally attracted the attention of the light-clothed saint and the 8 saints. Yi Tian didn't think about anything, just rushed over. He decided to help the lightly clothed saint. In fact, even if he didn't help the light-clothed saint, those saints of the dark destruction domain would never let him go. Seeing Yi Tian rushing over, the 3 saints immediately rushed to intercept Yi Tian. Court death. Yi Tian didn't keep his hands, and directly used the body-enhancing holy technique, and then used the perfection-level holy technique, golden thread. At the same time, the eternal indestructible holy body of the perfection level was also fully activated, and the power of the extreme way was also blessed on the body. Puff! The golden thread holy technique hit a holy man. Boom! The holy person was directly injured and flew out, and the holy objects on his body were dimmed. How is this possible? The other saints were stunned. Yi Tian severely injured one of their saints with one blow. What kind of strength is this? Possessing holy endowment protection, as well as many secret treasures and life-saving things, even so, he was severely injured by a single blow, which is a huge gap in strength. Not good. His holy body is very powerful, and he also has augmentation-type holy skills, and he has perfection-level holy skills. His strength is even stronger than that of the female saint. A holy man was shocked. Yi Tian's power shocked these saints, but the light-clothed saint was not surprised. It is normal for Yi Tian to be able to cultivate the eternal and inextinguishable holy body to the perfect state, and this time he entered the holy gold world again, comprehended the golden ancestor steel, and cultivated the golden thread sacred technique to the perfect state, which is not very strange. Therefore, Yi Tian's strength has skyrocketed so much. I have to admit that the saintess Qingyi also knows that Yi Tian's strength is much stronger than her own. Didn't kill it. Yi Tian is not surprised. If the opponent does not have the secret treasure and the sacred object to protect him, he can kill the opponent with one blow, but the opponent also has the sacred object. Unless he uses the sacred object Forbidden Blade, he can kill the opponent. However, he would not use the sacred object Forbidden Blade unless it was a last resort. 3 saints were besieging Yi Tian, one of them had been severely injured, and there were only 2 left. At this time, Yi Tian used another holy skill of the perfection realm, Void Slash. This move is Yi Tian's strongest move. If it is used to deal with the saint who has been severely wounded, it can definitely kill him. The holy man seemed to have sensed the danger, and the life-saving things were activated, and he also took the holy medicine to restore his injuries. But it is a pity that any holy medicine that restores injuries will take time to work. And Yi Tian will not give it time. Virtual cut. Yi Tian shot. Wow! The severely wounded saint was locked by the virtual slash, and in an instant, the void he was in shattered. And he was directly hit by the saint, and his body shattered little by little. This is also because the sacred artifact on his body is not strong. It is not a real defensive sacred artifact, it can only have a certain defensive effect, so there is no way to stop the virtual slash. Do not, the holy man said in despair. Click. The vitality of the physical body was completely destroyed, the soul escaped, and it completely fell and died. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yi Tian came to the fallen saint's side and put away his body. There are a lot of treasures contained in a holy person. If nothing else, the holy thing alone is enough to make him a lot of money. A saint was killed. This is a big event, piercing the sky. Any saint is the descendant of the ancestor of the supreme domain. Once the news spreads, it will lead to the ancestor of the supreme domain. Heitong Holy Sun, come and help us, or we will escape. A saint who besieged Yi Tian transmitted his voice. The black-eyed saint reluctantly gave up the light-clothed saint and killed Yi Tian. If he didn't make a move, the other saints would not be able to beat Yi Tian at all, and the difference in strength was too great. As soon as the black-eyed Holy Sun appeared, he immediately performed a 560 holy skill, Chaos God. This is a holy skill that directly points to the soul. Once the enemy does not have a powerful soul treasure, the soul will be severely damaged, the strength will be greatly reduced, and even the soul will be directly annihilated. But when the black-eyed sun used this holy technique, Yi Tian also performed the holy technique of suppressing God. Boom! The 2 soul holy skills collided, and a roar erupted. And the face of the black-eyed holy sun changed, suffered a big loss, and his soul began to vibrate. In fact, his chaotic sacred skills are only at the top level. Yi Tian's sacred skills are also great achievements, but the key is that Yi Tian has the body-preserving sacred skills, which can increase any sacred skills. This is an extremely terrifying thing. As a result, Yi Tian's sacred skill is comparable to the sacred skill of the perfect state, and the chaotic spirit of the black-eyed saint is naturally not an opponent. Damn guy, how can he have so many holy skills, and they are different types of holy skills? This guy is so lucky, and he gave birth to so many holy talents. The black-eyed saint child was puzzled. The holy chaos skill was useless, so he did not continue to use it. Immediately, he unleashed another holy technique of his own, of the 9 Serenity Profound Ice technique. Wow! Juyu Mysterious Ice technique instantly froze the area where Yi Tian was. However, it was instantly smashed and torn apart by Yi Tian's golden thread holy technique. At this moment, Yi Tian approached the black-eyed sun and used the void slashing technique.